That's what you think. Go to the Lord in prayer, shall we? Praise God. Our Heavenly Father, as we quiet our hearts and come before you today, we want to thank you for all your many, many blessings. Heavenly Father, we just pray that you'll give us the knowledge and wisdom to make the best decisions for our county. I know sometimes it don't please everybody, but Lord, in our world today, you can't, and you know that. So just help us to do the best. And we give you the glory for that in Jesus' name. Amen.
To the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right.
All right, so we'll call the meeting to order. All three of us is here, Lauren and Luke is here. Lauren, you got anything on the agenda?
Yes, the correspondence, everything but the Frankfurt Public Service District was added since it was posted. Husky, Amy, Denny, New Creek Fountain, Lisa, and the Thunder Community Foundation. Under new business, so it can discussion, but the check for the fairgrounds, the sheriff, the home confinement, sheriff, deputies, K-9 fund, maintenance personnel, and then under appointments, delegate.
You want to hear about the addition to the Fountain Fire Fund?
What
It's started.
it's under the correspondence.
Okay, John.
And I guess we could have this under correspondence as a notice of change for Breeze Line.
Okay. Anything else? That's it, we're here, the agreement with you. So moved. You know, approve that also. Minutes, have you got a chance to read through the minutes? I did, okay.
I don't know from.
So here, motion to.
We accept the minutes from June 11, 2025. I'll second that.
Approve that also. We're going to correspondence. We got Frankfurt Service District. Want to, I have Curtis Moran to be recorded as a custody family, West Virginia Day cards. Huh?
They're in
Yeah,
your-
it's in it. Yeah, I seen it in
I
there.
just made a photocopy, but there was a part.
It don't look nothing like that. Okay,
Happy West Virginia Day.
yeah, and, and we got, Amy Booth wants to be, appointed to the building commission. And we have, so. Lieutenant,
Together, yeah.
Mineral County Planning Commission, reappointment. Let's see, these all good. You know, we have New Creek Fire Department is Greg Cox and, Frankie Holloway. They want to be appointed to the, letter here to point them to the Amherst Authority. And we got a letter here from the Mountain Park Department. They want to have Roger Real appointed, or they asked for Roger Real or Jeff Myers. So deal with that here in a minute.
Clear down.
Lisa Wagner, okay.
She got this up, she said, yeah.
Okay.
That's,
This is wax.
She wants to stay on the planning commission, yes. In Tucker County Foundation, we got about run for.
And of course, back in February, they requested 15 and you did approve the 15, so I did, she sent this in an email and I did reply to her that you did approve the 15.
Okay, good. Okay. So that's good. Now,
And then Breeze Line, this was just a notice of changes. Most of the copy of notice upcoming channel lineup changes.
okay, do I hear any motions about our board appointed people? How about Curtis Moore?
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Curtis Moreland to the Frankfurt Public Service District. I second.
And I approve that also.
I'll make a motion, we reappoint Amy Booth to Mineral County Building Commission. I'll second that. I'll make a motion, we reappoint Denny Takata to the Mineral County Planning Commission. I'll second that.
You approve that also. Okay, the fire department, Blue Creek, we got two.
Make a motion, we appoint, Craig Cox.
Big Cox, do you want that, Greg? Okay,
I'll second
I
that.
approve that also. Fountain,
Make a motion, we appoint Roger Reel. Reappointing
yeah,
to the Mineral County Ambulance Authority. I second that.
we approve that also. And how about the cleaning commission?
Make a motion, we reappoint Lisa Wagner to the Mineral County Planning Commission. And I'll second that.
And I approve that also. Okay, we're moving down to the old business, update on the courthouse annex.
They are definitely not going to be done this month. And I don't think they'll be done next month. But we had a building commission meeting today. They're making progress. The judge's suite is almost complete. There's a holdup on getting doors. We're probably another 8 weeks out on getting the door to Krista's current office, Krista's old office, the old tax office and the old assessor. So we're trying to work those details out on what we can do so we can still get some people moved and get the building occupied, because those are custom order actual wood fire rated doors that'll still have the historical look. The judge's suite downstairs is almost done. We are actually moving Micah tomorrow over so they can begin work on the holding cell. The upstairs waiting room, they are currently leveling and are supposed to be framing this week for the 2 attorney-client conference rooms. The jury room will probably be done next week.
I didn't finish.
You going?
Okay. On. Sorry, I way too distracted.
Sorry.
One thing that did come up today was the fire marshal is coming on the 16th to do all the fire alarm testing. They wanted to know, they being Jeremiah and especially Krista, wanted to know if we would be willing to close on the 16th, just the courthouse, so they can do the alarm testing, because the alarm will be blaring most of the day. Because they've got to test every single individual place. So that's I've not talked to Judge Courier. He was in Grant this week today. So they're not going to schedule court on that day, but there were some concerns about them being there all day while the alarms are being tested. So I said I would ask you all, because half the building is circuit. Well, the circuit clerk's a weird arrangement to begin with, because it's you, Krista, and the judge that's really responsible for it, and then the prosecutor. I haven't got to talk to Charlie yet. This all just came about today.
They can't do that on a Saturday, or?
Fire marshal's not going to Saturday. They barely got a mural today for the 16th, is the way Jeremiah.
But
Is it all day, not just an afternoon or something?
they spent all day, because they're gonna test the sprinkler system and.
They were saying about 5 hours, so it's gonna be so much of the day that. And we were trying to think today, but I don't know where else they could go or anything, without a computer and a phone, they can't really do anything. They come sit in the commission room all day, but that would be completely worthless. There'd be no value in that. So, but I needed to ask you all.
What date is it?
It's the 16th of July.
It's a Wednesday.
And apparently in the meeting in I've already had a thought they would just deal with it all day. And apparently Jeremiah was really telling us they should not be there all day. And that came to me later, so. Cause he said, it'll go off 15 seconds, and then 30 seconds later, it's gonna be off again. So they're gonna test every single individual.
That'd be the
Litigation
circuit clerk's office and then prosecuting attorney,
and circuit judges.
circuit judge. Well,
I don't know what else to do. You
Yeah.
guys have thoughts for,
yeah, your place would be cheaper to buy. I'm just kidding.
Well, I even thought like the circuit clerk's office, but I guess they don't do enough in family court, magistrate court, like, I don't know if there's anything they could do in any of those offices, I guess not. But,
So we need to make a motion to.
I mean, you all need to do whatever you wanna do about it now, but I just,
Well, if it's set up, well, how do you wanna deal with that?
It would be paid time off.
Now, didn't, question, quote me if I'm wrong, but when they come in, 15th,
I think she
I
should
thought-
post it.
yeah, she posted,
oh, Kristen's office didn't come in, even though the circuit.
she posted my call number,
She, okay, all right, gotcha.
is my understanding of what they did, they posted it on call number.
Okay.
I do see where you were coming from, though, they worked an extra day, so there we go. They do not.
I don't know that we have much of an option.
We don't,
Employees.
yeah.
And we'll just have to do it.
Okay, but if you guys wanna officially make that in motion, I'll go to the circuit judge, so they can move forward.
Mr. Chair, motion, we close the courthouse on July 16th. With circuit clerk. The
Courthouse
judges
building.
building, correct. Yeah, courthouse building. I'll second that
They can
motion.
approve that also. Oh, update real quick on Lorraine.
Oh, hold on, I'm not done that. The security stuff we've been working on, there's delays though, because the grant actually expires this month. We're filed for an extension, because we can't put door access controls in when there's no doors. So they're working on that. I'm gonna throw this under here because I didn't get correspondence till too late for the agenda. We were awarded another, I think it was 13 grand to go ahead and upgrade the access control system for that building for the courthouse. I want to have an executive session with you all later to discuss how we're gonna proceed with that. The sheriff, had some discussions. So we'll talk about that later. And then the final thing, courthouse facilities, Tom, Judge Courier, and Judge Pancake and I did meet last week. Jason didn't get to see it today. Should have stopped and showed you. Tom has a 3D model of what the remodel will look like. Well, a base, he's still got to send the Supreme Court. We got to go back with Judge Courier and Judge Pancake. But I think it's a pretty good design. We're not gonna be able to do everything in one grant cycle, because I didn't think about it, but once we start doing these moves, that room has to become compliant. So like, we're gonna have to put a ramp, we can't ramp the bench, there's too much fall, you'd have to take the whole room, put a ramp, and we're gonna have to put an actual lift in. Some stuff like that, and really thinking about it, those are things we should do anyways. We've had a judge in a wheelchair that's sit on the floor, and that's not. So Tom's gonna have those plans. Once we get them looked at by the Supreme Court and by Judge Courier and Pancake again, we'll bring those back and then we'll start getting pricing them. But whenever you all want to look at it, I'm sure Tom can have a show you. He's got a really cool 3D model on it, so. I think that's what I got on this. Oh, and the change order, you guys approved it the last meeting, but the official documentation came through today. It's exactly what you all approved, but I had Roger sign it and the building commission signed off on it, so it'll go to USDA for approval and then. All that good stuff, so,
We did transfer the funds over.
okay, perfect.
Do anything for folks from Red Bull talk?
You wanna jump, you wanna get
Yeah,
over it?
we're on, as soon as he gets his, both.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I think we're waiting on one more dispatch with that.
You good?
I told the dispatcher's fine, I wasn't sure, so.
Okay, Rick?
You ready with one more dispatcher though?
Just, yeah, wait, if she's waiting on the dispatcher, that's.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, because who else worked with them?
You got the motion.
Calvin and Charlotte, they were both coming. I told them 5, but I wasn't sure what was going on, so I just told them like a little bit in the meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
That's okay.
sorry, we're gonna wait.
Mr. Jordan? All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right,
Sorry, guys.
I won't know, I won't off you.
update on the health department bill. I got anything on that?
Oh, no, I don't have farms. I mean, we had our executive session discussion last week, unless you guys have any meeting for the other thing about that.
If that just carried that over, because I didn't know if anything needed to be done. That's later on the agenda too.
Oh, okay. We'll
The other thing on the health department? The
Um,
health department, you don't know,
You got a pay app, I know that,
Yeah, I
you got a pay app process, that's.
yeah, I had to stop yesterday, pay that, they run into some issues out there. It's costing them almost $500,000 extra just for the groundwork. So. I don't know if you got, I don't know if the state could come up with a little bit of money, Rick. We're about 50% over. We're 400,000. Maybe a little bit more over out there because of of the test was to stay 2 inches of topsoil instead of 18, 2 foot. So they gotta go down deep and then we had a meeting with the test, had 2 meetings with the test. And the one I was in the other day, they're a pretty good bunch of guys to work with, I think. They had to take the engineer off the project. The one that's been on the project since the beginning, and they had to take him off and put somebody else in, because he was, the Dutch was in there, he was a piece of work. He was very, very nasty. So
Yeah,
that's about it's coming along though. We gotta put a drainage clear underneath the building from one side to the other of the property. Where the road goes back on bulbs, clear down and hook in to the other drain. So that's about it. It's coming along. But we're running into a lot of expense that we never had. Okay. Update on the opioid.
all right, so this is a long one, so whenever we. All right. We received 6 applications. 6. And so I'll just go through and we had 4 of them present, and I'll just explain each one of them as we go through. First person to present was Charlie Johnson, prosecuting attorney. He was asking for $95,000 to pay the salary and benefits of another assistant prosecuting attorney. He wants to use this new assistant as a juvenile abuse and neglect cases with parents where parents are in addiction, he can't take care of the children. He wants to work a little harder, or his office work a little more to reunite these families, or reunite the children with other people in the family. And then he also wants to work on getting a team board. When the train gets done, he wants to start a team court in Mineral County and build on that. Team courts where it's trains. If a teen gets in trouble in school, then they end up coming into the court and are judged by their peers, other kids in the class. Grant County has that right now. However, their system has actually fallen off a little bit. I think the person that was putting that together left, and at least that was what we talked about the other day. But then he's also saying that he needs another, of course, he came to us already. He wanted another assistant prosecuting attorney because he has 100 cases higher than what Hampshire County does. We discussed it in detail. The committee did, and the committee recommends approval for this money. Now, I've tried to make it clear to them that don't know how this money is going to work out down the road, and also made it clear to Charlie that if we put on another assistant prosecuting attorney, you can't guarantee we can put it in the budget next year to continue that assistant prosecuting attorney. And then he also mentioned that he put in 95,000 to cover salary benefits. However, there's a couple people that he's looking at who's out of school. They haven't passed, they're out of law school, but they're working on passing the bar, or want to be passing the bar. And he's looking at hiring some of these young individuals, or a young individual who is right out of college. And then, so they wouldn't be getting the full rate of pay as an assistant prosecuting attorney to start with, until they pass the bar and achieve some of those credentials. So he may not need the entire 95,000, but nonetheless, he put that in the application. So,
If you're looking about pay down the road, you need to take into consideration what he also said about the regional jail bill to drop the price. So you need to keep that in mind down the road too.
yeah, and he really wants to work more with home confinement and that kind of thing as well. Which would help our jail bill with more home confinement. But that's so right now the recommendation is is for approval of the 95,000 from the committee. And I guess I'll make that as a motion.
Second.
I agree. Okay. All right, next one was Jean Ryan, and I didn't write the lady's name, I can't think of the other lady's name that was with her. But they was with the Homeless Coalition. They're asking for $20,000, they're looking to get transitional housing or get a house or a place to have transitional housing for people who are homeless. For people who are, have a substance use disorder, to get them help. There was a couple people last winter or over the winter that they did work with, TPM, who we also have given money to. TPM, will take these people. However, they still, and this is the second time they came to us, they still do not have a good plan. They have no idea where they're gonna rent, they have no idea what place they're gonna go, they have no idea what they're gonna do. It just isn't a real good plan. The committee felt that this application should be tabled till they come up with a better plan or find a place or that kind of thing, so.
How would they manage the transitional living program without a person or a staff? Like,
Exactly. There's a lot of questions there that they couldn't answer and.
This will
I kind of felt like,
this one, you're about to.
yeah,
that would be
Sherry Gannon's in there with
feel like you
them.
can do transitional living without at least a staff person.
Well, and that's, everybody's volunteer too, and it's just, and they don't have, like I said, they don't even have, how you do transitional housing, you don't even have a place. So, that's where we're at. The committee felt that it needed to be tabled till they come up and try to get them to work on a better plan. So I'll just make a motion, we'll deny that petition not deny it, we'll table that application. Till sometime later.
Second it.
Usually requested 20 or 25.
20.
They request 20 or 25.
20.
That's not very much money to do that with either.
No. All right, next one, Mineral County CASA. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, the Dayla Harvey from Mineral County CASA. She is the executive director, presented to the first committee requesting $15,000 in funding to further expand their services in Mineral County to include the Eternally Home Program. This is a program designed to support local families by assisting them in meeting identified goals, financially assisting with bills, clothes, etc. CASA utilizes a significant amount of local community support and assists families by linking them with other resources. Eternally Home will offer early intervention services with the goal of preventing the family from court CPS criminal involvement. CASA is a community volunteer based with 6 current volunteers to work. Through their work, there has been a documented 7% decrease in DHHR/CPS referrals in Mineral County. Thus far, they have worked with more than 40 local families, of which 98% were dealing with substance use issues within a home. CASA is an integral part of support for many families and agencies across Mineral County. So it came that CASA also works with Charlie, our prosecuting attorney, works with CASA to help some of these families and kids, and it's more about the kids, trying to get the kids help and also to help the families to get straightened up so that the kids can be taken care of.
And so CASA, they assign like there's a CASA worker for every child in foster care. And that CASA worker goes to all of the kids' court hearings. They come and visit the house once a month. And they check on the kid regularly because the guardian ad litem is assigned to every child that's in CPS placement. That guardian ad litem is ultimately responsible for a lot of decisions, but they're just a local attorney. They don't go to people's houses. They don't do that kind of thing. And CASA is able to communicate a lot of those needs and make recommendations to the guardian ad litem through the program. CASA is absolutely an incredible organization. I have a lot of experience with them. They're incredible.
So with that, the committee does recommend, funding them with, they did request 15,000. But the committee felt that they should offer them 20,000 for everything they do and the materials and stuff they need. So I will make a motion on behalf of the committee to offer them $20,000 for aid. So.
I agree.
I should actually clarify, is this a one payment or a split payment?
So all, it would be a split payment.
Because it's a split.
Half up front, and then once they do some reporting, we'll authorize the other half.
This was tabled, and then,
Charlie Dawson will just be a salary.
and we just need a reimbursement through
Yeah.
quarterly, whatever. Okay.
All of them before here too.
Huh?
All of them before here.
Do you want to stop in the middle of this and do that?
Whatever you all, I was just talking about.
How you
I
want?
don't know if Rick even thinks you.
All right, he said I can finish. The one that sent me a text, let's get this going.
Jason's gonna fall off his chair over there.
Just kidding. So the next one, Dr. Kerbo's come in. So this would be the Mineral County Emergency Medical Service. This is to help with our chase car that the county will be taking control of. So she put on the application for $70,000. This is for a LifePak 35 cardiac monitor. It's an advanced monitor featuring 12 lead ECG, CO2 monitoring, pulse, fibrillation capabilities. That's the big ticket item, and it's $55,000. It's essential for managing opioid-related respiratory failure. She has on here an intravenous medication pump. It's a high precision IV pump for consistent accurate medication administration in the field, especially for overdoses requiring controlled titration. That's $2,200. Transport. The next is a Zoll Z-Vent portable ventilator. It's a transport capable ventilator with oxygen delivery controls and advanced airway management support, essential for patients with opioid-induced respiratory depression. That is $10,000 for that. And then the last thing is ancillary medical equipment. That's just supporting accessories for all the major devices, the cables, CO2 filters, IV pump tubing sets, ventilator circuits, backup batteries, and mounting hardware. Total is $70,000. The committee was concerned about the data, the amount of opioid related calls that they get, and was wanting more data. They wanted to table it till they got some more statistics. There was some comments about, maybe if there was any 50% call or something like that, that they would put 50% of money into it. I talked with Dr. Kerbos a couple times, and there is no way to get through the data, sort through the data, and come up with a definite number. We could sit here and say 40 to 50%, and probably can argue that. But whenever the calls that come in to 911 are either unresponsive patient or somebody passing out or just found somebody not moving, then they don't get tagged as necessary a drug related call, because once the medics get there or the EMTs get there and start addressing the patient, then the determination is made what's going on with the patient. But that does not change the call that's in the CAD system in 911, or even the call that the chase car would do. The best they could come up with was, why didn't I put that number in there? I had a number of 59 calls this year out of the, oh, wait a minute. So out of the 407 calls this year so far, she gave me approximately 59, which is a little bit about somewhere around 30%. But you still, there's no way of knowing, there's no way to tell, because it's just not coded that way in the fall. The committee wanted to table until they got more data, but they're not gonna be able to get more, we're not gonna be able to get more data. There's just no way to get more data. I would like to see us fund at least half of it. If we funded 35,000, I think, which we'll be talking about that later, but there is some money in the excess levy
Yeah,
fund.
there's still over 100,000 in excess levy for the ambulance authority.
And then,
Their quarterly's already been paid. So
yeah. And then there's, from the original buy down agreement of 120,000, there's some money there as well. So I'll personally make a motion that we cover half of it. Second it. All right,
Thanks.
So TPM, they was approved last year for $20,000. They have reported, they continue to help people out, they continue to take people who have substance use disorders and get them treatment, get them help, and even the ones that come out of treatment, get them set up in homes or apartments and that kind of thing with clothes and furniture, and they have been they're really hands-on, they've been doing a lot for that. We didn't even ask them to present, but they just want to keep their program going as it is, and the committee recommended approval for them for another $20,000. It will be the same way, give them half up front. Sure. What's the report?
Trap People Foundation.
No, that's Travis,
Oh, okay,
Foundation.
okay.
They're a Bearport.
I know what you mean.
Okay. So I'll make a motion, we cover the 20,000 with 10 up front and.
I'll second.
Great. Last one that I have is the city of Piedmont. The city of Piedmont asked for $20,000 to pay for a city officer to patrol the streets, make arrests. Watch for, deals and that kind of thing. They do have an issue up there, perfectly understand they have an issue. They have been putting a lot of money into their water and they really don't have the money to be able to pay for a city police officer. The committee does not feel that this is what the money's for, to pay for surveillance, to pay for arrests, to pay for patrolling, that kind of thing. So the committee is recommending to not pay or to not approve this application. And I will follow along and make that motion. That we turn down that application for City of Piedmont. Second. The other thing that I have that I want to talk about that Lauren brought up is the pro officer. Last year, we agreed to cover half the salary of pro officer for Frankfurt Middle School and half the salary for the pro officer at Kaiser Middle School. However, we went basically all year, and didn't really have a pro officer at Kaiser Middle School. So we had committed 80,000 for that to cover those two salaries. So according to Lauren, the half the salary for Frankfurt Middle School was 26,280. They're right. She's looking at me weird now.
Well, I've been dealing with so many figures the past couple
Okay.
days, I'm trying to remember.
No, anyway, I don't need a motion or anything here, don't even prove anything, I was just sharing it. Okay?
Only half, I mean, it was just for one position.
Yeah.
For at least this fiscal year.
And then the other thing, the last thing that I have,
We have a little over 50,000 left out of that money that.
oh, yes, yeah. So the last thing that I have is that, before this round of applications, we had roughly $450,000 not committed yet. This will take close to 200,000 out of that. And we talked at the committee meeting that possibly holding off. We was doing applications every quarter. I think we need to hold off for at least 6 months or a year. Are you guys in favor of holding off here for a while before we do any more? Well, that's what I say. We've been doing every quarter, but if we wait 6 months,
About the money coming in.
oh, we won't get it till December, January.
That's just it. We don't know what we're gonna get. I'd kind of like to wait, honestly, I'd kind of like to wait till we see what we get next. And work off of that.
Cause your last two checks have been big, the next one couldn't be
Yeah,
much.
well, yeah, we went from 570 to 190.
Around there.
Yeah,
And as some of those places about bankruptcy, we're not.
yeah, we went from 580,000 the first check, 197,000 second check, so it's less than half. I actually expected the second check to be half of the first one, and we're not even at half. So I don't know what's gonna happen this winter, so if you guys are okay with that, we're gonna hold off for a little while on these rounds.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. That is all that I have. You're looking at January for the next round, though, possibly.
Okay, Mr. Hillebrand. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Luke,
No, it's Rick.
Rick,
Yeah.
you got your people here though.
Yeah, don't ask me to have them, yeah, that's
Okay,
what I.
Rick? Sure.
Well, thank you for an opportunity to present a citation here. A number of you may recall last month, we had for us, it seems to keep coming, some rather severe rains. And, there were a number of people that went, not only, did their job as they normally would do, but above and beyond. And I want to take the opportunity to recognize, organizations and some specific individuals. This is one of those things where you're darned if you do, darned if you don't. I'm fearful that I may omit somebody. I've already been told in trying to put this sausage together here that we've got to change somebody from an associate professor to
Assistant, I think it's assistant to.
assistant to associate or whatever, but we got a couple minor changes here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read this citation and I have a copy. But what I'd like to do is, if organizations or individuals would like copies, I will count up how many they are and get additional made. So I've got one. I didn't know how many we want. As you'll see, as I read this, there's a lot of people that pitched in to help us. So with that, I'm gonna read this and then, I guess we can hold it all or whatever and take a picture or something if somebody wants. So this is a legislative citation recognizing those involved in the Mineral County Mineral County flood emergency response efforts. Whereas on Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, Mineral County, West Virginia, and the city of Kaiser experienced historic flooding due to severe storms and torrential rainfall, endangering public safety, infrastructure, and community stability. And whereas the rapid rise of New Creek and other waterways triggered urgent evacuations in areas such as Water Street, Harley Ostagers Drive, and Stony Run, necessitating immediate and coordinated emergency responses. And whereas Mineral County Emergency Services, led by Director Luke McKenzie, Eileen Sindeldecker, and Sanford Green, Region 3 Liaison Officer, EMAC Coordinator, EMAC A-Team, WVEMD Preparedness and Response, provided exceptional leadership and coordination to safeguard residents and mitigate flooding impacts. And whereas the Mineral County 911 Center and dispatchers manage critical communications with efficiency and professionalism, ensuring seamless coordination of emergency operations. And whereas the greater Mineral County EMS community, including Dr. Catherine Kerbos and Dr. Michael Sukas, assistant professors at West Virginia University School of Medicine and EMS medical directors for Mineral and Monongahela counties, respectively, Medic Ray Wolf, who drove from Monongahela County with WVU's chase car, Medic Lauren Simpson with the Short Gap Volunteer Fire Company, and Kaiser Emergency Medical Services provided life-saving medical care and rapid response. And whereas law enforcement agencies, including the West Virginia State Police, West Virginia Natural Resources Police, Potomac State University Police Department, Mineral County Sheriff's Department, including Corp Security, and Kaiser Police Department, ensured public safety, facilitated evacuations, and secured affected areas with dedication. And whereas volunteer fire departments and companies, including Tri-Towns Volunteer Fire Department, Ridgely Volunteer Fire Department, Wiley Ford Volunteer Fire Company, Kaiser Volunteer Fire Department, Short Gap Volunteer Fire Company, Fort Ashby Volunteer Fire Company, New Creek Volunteer Fire Department, Fountain Volunteer Fire Company and their Special Operations Unit, and Romney Volunteer Fire Company Swift Water Response Rescue performed heroic rescues and provided critical support. And whereas the West Virginia Department of Highways District 5, under the leadership of District Superintendent Engineer J. Lee Thorne, responded swiftly to infrastructure damage, managing road closures and ensuring access for emergency services. And whereas the Mineral County Commission and Parks and Recreation Department provided essential resources and coordination to support displaced residents and facilitate community recovery. And whereas the collective efforts of these individuals and organizations reflect the strength, dedication, and unity of the Mineral County community in overcoming a historic crisis. Whereas I, Delegate Rick Hillenbrand of the West Virginia House of Delegates, hereby recognize and commend Mineral County Emergency Services, Director Luke McKenzie, Eileen Sindeldecker, Sanford Green, the Mineral County 911 Center, and dispatchers, the Greater Mineral County EMS community, Dr. Catherine Kurbos, Dr. Michael Sukas, Medic Ray Wolf, Medic Lauren Simpson, Kaiser Emergency Medical Services, the West Virginia State Police, West Virginia Natural Resources Police, Potomac State University Police Department, Mineral County Sheriff's Department, including court security, Kaiser Police Department, Tri-Towns Volunteer Fire Department, Ridgely Volunteer Fire Department, Wiley Ford Volunteer Fire Company, Kaiser Volunteer Fire Department, Short Gap Volunteer Fire Company, Fort Ashby Volunteer Fire Company, New Creek Volunteer Fire Department, Fountain Volunteer Fire Company and Special Operations, Romney Volunteer Fire Company, Swiftwater Rescue, the West Virginia Department of Highways District 5, District Superintendent Engineer J. Lee Thorne, and the Mineral County Commission and Parks and Recreation for their extraordinary efforts during the historic flooding events in Mineral County and Kaiser, West Virginia on May 13, 2025. Therefore, the House of Delegates of the West Virginia Legislature hereby commends the efforts of all peoples and organizations involved in the swift, life-saving response to the Mineral County flood, May 13, 2025. That's a mouthful. Really, what I want to say is you guys pulled it all together, and that's what the community is all about. And it shouldn't go and be assumed. It needs to be recognized when people do good things. And I appreciate, on behalf of everybody, all the things you as individuals and organizations did. And that's why I'm here today. Thank you. I don't know who all would like a copy of this. Let me know and I will get those made. I've got obviously one.
I'll get a tally of everybody from fire and EMS that wants one to you.
Great. Well, we can work on that.
And Eleanor would like to help.
Let's see if we can try to get a picture of anybody in here and maybe we can try to get a picture of everybody. Sure. With the citation. All right. Sheriff's Department said.
Hey, you know.
We don't have any picture coordinators, y'all just gotta
Everybody gets.
squeeze in there.
In the corner.
I'm gonna stand in the back, then I'm.
You can't see Liv, Liv can't see you.
Oh, you're recording from me.
We're gonna like stack up or something.
Yeah. Sorry, short people in the front, sorry. Everybody here, I'm sorry. This side of the door, this side of the door.
Come on, Lauren.
You need to get from.
Roger?
Hi,
Can't see
anybody?
you. Can't see why.
Oh,
you're
halfway through brain suit.
Wait, Joel, can't see you. Sheriff's trying to hide, yeah.
You want me to ready? You want me to carry you?
Not good. Ready for everybody?
Okay, if you can see me, I can see you. Count of three. 1, 2, smile. Now let me take another one here on Rick's phone.
Everybody say, never name a street Water Street.
Count of three. 1, 2, smile. All right.
Well. Where's Roger? Where's Roger? Roger, I'm gonna give you this original. President of the commission, but I will get as many additional comments made as necessary.
Well,
Center.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for playing out. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, there's just the one that says.
Hey, Lauren, hold on. Yeah, tell them guys you're a minute, would you please?
They want us to come back.
Okay.
They want us to come back.
Before everybody leaves, do you want a personal copy of this?
Yes.
So we need 1, 2, 3, 4. You
And then
want
one for every department, I think, for sure.
All right, that's 9,
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I probably grab one for Eileen.
13,
Yeah, one probably.
14. We just need 14. Can you get us 15 copies?
I can do that.
Oh, that didn't, can you do us 20 copies?
20?
I'd like to have a copy too.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
20
20.
is good. And I know that,
I didn't answer. Sorry about that.
Dr. Tricus and.
Yeah.
Twenty-five.
25.
25.
No, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You come up with a number?
25. Okay.
I think Jason said 130. We've got 13 fire EMS agencies. That's the ones that are separate. There's 9 fire, 11 EMS. It's 13.
No, they're not EMS.
Actually.
9 EMS, 11 fire.
Sorry for the rest of the statement.
Okay, appreciate it.
Oh, if you wanna make a few extra,
Yeah, I'll get 30 of them made up.
get 30, that'll work.
And then if you bring them here, we'll make sure everybody gets some.
Yeah, right.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Bob might even want one.
Hey, so this is,
Business is not fun.
He's more interested in Lita checks.
yeah. So this isn't, on the agenda and it really doesn't need any approval or discussion from the commissioners, but I just wanted to relay this. This is for Mayor of Elk Garden. Me and Jason was down at the fair Saturday night and Randy Smith, or Senator Randy Smith and Senator Jay Taylor was there and they gave me this letter, wondered if I could hand it off to Elk Garden. I actually said, well, I got ahold of Andy Bob, he'll be at the meeting on Tuesday evening, can you make it? And he never responded, so I'm sure he's busy and couldn't, I knew they was at a session today anyway, so. This basically just says, dear Mayor Bob, congratulations on the local economic development assistance grant you have been awarded by the West Virginia Senate. Please find and close a check for $12,000 as requested by the West Virginia Senate to be used to pave and repair Walnut Street. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns related to your grant, please contact the West Virginia State Finance Committee. Thank you for your commitment to doing great work for the state of West Virginia. This is signed by Patrick Morrissey. But there is a check in here for $12,000. We had originally agreed to pay $18,000 for the paving because we thought that this wasn't going to come so quick. And they got it here, and so here's the check for.
Thank you, and I really appreciate money coming in sideways and throwing my accounting into havoc. I had to call the auditor's office and say, what do I do? So, the books are closed.
Yeah.
So, but they.
Okay.
The auditor's
And
office.
then, where are they at on their paving? Are they done paving
They
or
did Walnut today.
did they?
Yep, I had to seek out Saturday
All right.
down the backside of Walnut because I had sent out the Facebook post, don't drive on Walnut until tomorrow.
Okay. So Rick's working on another check?
Yeah, and talked with actually Senator Smith yesterday on that. And apparently the governor has signed most of the Senate's Lita checks, but very few of the houses. Apparently there's more of us and it's harder to sign or
You
something.
used to have yours set up to come to the commission, right?
As far as I know, yes,
Okay.
yes. So that's still on track as far as I know, along with I've got a few other Lita checks in the hopper as well.
So how do we work that?
So, I will get a hold, since I talked to Scott before, the paper contractor, because I told him to just invoice us up to invoice the county up to $18,000, we would cover that. However, since you have 12 now, we'll have to say, you can invoice us up to 6, and the town went up there, the rest of them, so. And
Maybe.
I'll get a hold of him, and I'll call him right away. But maybe tonight, we'll try to get it cleared up with that, so.
Probably had that discussion.
He probably
A
is.
basketball from all day.
It's a pretty hot day to be asphalt too, so.
It's pretty high up there. I appreciate it. We're 2,500 feet out of this.
Yeah.
So even from here, you can feel it. You're working hard to take down that. Yeah. You know, it's like, right.
Yeah, that pavement's a couple hundred trees as well, so. Okay. I apologize.
She gets, there's a, she can. You doesn't just sing. We go on. War memorial.
Well,
Look up and thank you. We're
I
singing.
talked to Roy and I got an update and I have been trying to remember all day what he had told me and I cannot remember.
It gets worse.
I tell you, what was his update? So I apologize. And I know one thing I told him, I said, well, we'll just take it off the agenda for now until they have something else come up. Okay, one thing he was concerned about was, that's what it was. Okay, are we going to move the law enforcement one over to the other side? Or is it staying there too?
It's really never been discussed.
I thought it was stay there.
I mean, no decisions has been made to my knowledge where it's
That's-
going.
That's the question. Well, no, you guys decided it was on that.
Well, we wanted it on our
Section.
side, but I don't
Yeah.
know about that. Eight center.
Sorry, and 811 did come and they didn't have any markings. The city didn't mark anything either. They have a hydrant there. I even texted them to specifically check and never heard back. So as far as I know, there are no lines running through that part.
To
There are just a line.
the other
This
side.
side you guys wanted,
Yeah.
the south side, well, east side.
He's,
Yeah.
So I guess he kind of needs to know, is it being moved or not? Because that will determine their plans a little bit.
that's that memorial on that side.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were just gonna leave it.
I thought we were just gonna leave it too.
Was a thing, and then just
Yeah.
the other one was gonna come out. I thought.
Yeah, I
So neither
thought
of
so
them will
too.
take away from each other and.
And I talked to two individuals from the city and they really don't want them on. The veteran or the Vietnam Memorial, the gentleman that purchased that, those who did the agreement that nothing else would be put at that one, right by the bridge, so it can't go there. Mr. Hardy is looking at other places and still looking for other places to put the old monument. So you're confirming that you do not want to move.
I don't think we needed to go to added expense. Sit it out there a little bit.
And we did get shot down for the community project funding. We got our denial on that from.
Oh, okay.
From Riley Moore. Yes. Yes. Then we got denial. We didn't get shot down.
Do you need anything else in the war memorial?
No, and then it's gonna come off the agenda until he has something else to present,
Okay,
okay?
county vehicles, so
They are all listed. I think the auction goes live in the morning at 8 AM. I think I said that at the last meeting, the
Yeah.
classified requirements like a week now. So we had to push back a week from the original, but they go live tomorrow. I think we'll finish the week after July 4th, something like that. So they'll be live very soon.
okay, good deal. Regarding the rundown properties in county municipalities.
This is just for you all you were gonna discuss what you wanted to do about an engineer, budgeting some things, that kind of thing on this. You just wanna keep carrying it over until we see what the carryover looks like, and maybe we could establish a line to make this happen? Cause that's what really needs to happen. If you all want to do this, we just gotta establish a budget.
Well, there's so many places around, I don't.
Well, you could even put a limit on it and say, we only review 5 properties a year. You can do it on wanted. But do you just wanna, that's just my thought, but how about we just carry it over until we see what the carryover is, then you could look at maybe doing a budget line for it.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea.
Over to the next meeting. Yeah, because even if you only tackle one or two of the most dangerous ones.
Right.
All right, update on change call.
Well, I'll give these things real quick. Job was posted, interviews are next week. Lauren, well, they needed mutual aid agreements for the car. I've gotten those from half of the departments. I had Roger sign those earlier and the departments have signed them. The AVL is ordered for the car.
Something over to Valley.
Yes, I did send a letter to Valley. They did respond that they received it, and understood, wished us well, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, the committee interviews next week, so,
You guys said they have to start July 15th, and they start July 16th?
oh, yeah, for sure.
I was talking to Kim, she said, why not the 16th? I
And
said,
she wasn't very happy. She just called me right before the
well, yeah, I
meeting.
need to talk to you about that too.
Okay, was she, yeah, okay. July 16th, yeah, for sure, we can do one day there. I don't have any other updates unless Jason does.
I don't have anything at this point.
So what I talked about with the opioid money, so the opioid money cover half of the startup cost of $70,000. How do you feel about them using the excess levy funds to cover the other 35,000 for startup costs?
Else. So do they have any other?
I don't have any majors out there. I don't have any major, anything on my radar that I haven't already budgeted for this year.
We did do the fourth quarter distribution was done, and there's 105, 422.68. Excess levy money in the excess levy fund, right, authority. So even if you just wanted to keep 50,000 in there, distribute the rest of it.
So they only need 35.
And
Yeah, I wanna tell you, I would rather just
Expenses.
keep the money in your keeping unless we need it, except for what we need. So just, if I get the 35,000 from the opioid funds and 35,000 from that excess fund right now, then I would be happy with that. Just, can I get those checks next week? And no, I don't have to have it today, but like,
Do you have to get approval from your ambulance
no,
authority board?
the county commission can give us the money whenever, and since the vote was made to fund this with the ambulance authority, we have to fund it and take care of it.
So I'll make a motion, we
We do. 35, 422.68.
That way it's even. Is that-
we can do $35,422.68 to the ambulance authority.
And I second.
Be ready to get this week.
Yeah, just get a hold of me, I'll stop up and get them, and, I'm still putting the opioid, I created a new account, Eileen and I went to the bank and created a new account for the opioid funds, they're direct deposited in that, anytime we use that, you will get a transaction receipt from just that account. So you can track your opioid, I don't know how you track it, but I didn't want that to all just be lumped in altogether.
Just for documentation purposes, should that 35,000 motion say to purchase the things needed to chase Star Star?
Well, it's excess levy money to the ambulance
Oh,
authority.
it's
So
theirs
what they
anyways,
do with
okay.
it.
All right, hey, listen, I'm gonna place the order for the equipment this tomorrow, so.
Okay.
It's good, the money's gonna be here and gone.
And the 35 out of opioid would be better.
So that's that.
Don't change it.
That's all I have. Yeah, that's all we have.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Okay,
Going through applications. That's.
No, we're interviewing next week.
Interview.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
all right, approval of Conley 30-year service plus, you wanna add them 7 on there also?
And that's
Yeah.
what I would say. They had 5 and as they have 25 years differential for Conley. And then the measurement of the 2 or the 12. That's up to you guys.
I said that you wanted to add it on this when we discussed this about the 7, correct?
Yes. So it'd be another $1,750.
I'm afraid we're gonna open up a can of worms and then everybody's gonna want, well, I want to buy 600 instead of 300, then I just. I'm in the favor of just not doing it, but not doing any of it, for none of them.
Jason?
I'm with Dutch. I think we're just opening up a can of worms and the reality is it's just how the business world works. And, for that.
And it is unfortunate for him in this situation. Because we agreed to it at the beginning of the year and to start July to. In a couple weeks. And it's just unfortunate, last year is when he got his 30 years, so. I'm sorry, it's just the way I feel it, and because it's gonna snowball into. Everybody's gonna wanna, well, I want back pay for last year as well, so.
Okay,
It's my feelings.
Actually, denied him.
Do you want that as a formal motion?
Which is required.
I'll make a motion, we deny that request.
I second. I approve it also.
all right. Step increases.
Now you have that in your notebook.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this is for the
So
pros.
Put over, I will say, I misspoke when I said the 400, because they wouldn't qualify for the 400. They would have qualified for 300, so if you flip that page there. Flip that. That's what I did is I broke it down by year. You can see, but they have the, when I had misspoke, put the 4 at the top, whereas down the bottom is the 3. Because the first year they don't get anything, and then, so Clark had 7 years, Rumor has 5 years, Hudson has 1 year. So for this first 6 years, what they would have gotten, and of course they'll get this year's. So, and actually Hudson just started in October, so he's not really part of this request, because he's only going to get this year's step.
Which was already, well,
This year's step's already in place.
yeah,
So then if you did the 2 and the 12, then the first page there, it has their current salary as of this pay was the 50,080. And then the steps they're gonna get for this year, and then they're asking for the steps. And then that would be the difference.
That would bring them current for the rest of the debt.
No, they started out as a new deputy, June 1st.
Yeah.
June 1st, they're like a new deputy. But because he had 5 years experience and 6 years, 5 years and 7 years, they were just asking for that consideration.
so this would give them. The time they started as a pro officer. This would give them their steps on that time that they started that they didn't get. Because they were employed for the county, and instead of coming over from ground zero. They come over to the deputies, and then they started completely over as a new deputy. And kind of lost those years of service. Didn't really lose the years of service, because they did on their pay increase, so you had. Clark, who's been here since 18. At the same pay rate as what Rumor is, or Hudson is, that just started. So this would get them back up into. So the one with more experience is gonna get more pay. Yeah. Okay, which I think is fair. Makes sense. And it's $2,200.
Mind you, all these officers have much more years of
Oh,
experience
yeah,
in law
they do,
enforcement.
yeah.
20, 30 years of law enforcement experience. But they're starting out as deputy number 1.
Now,
And that's
are
with
they,
other agencies too.
Yeah.
yeah, are
Yes,
they running on the streets pretty much by themselves, the roads?
For the most part.
And your cars, you're good with the cars?
Well, we've had a few issues with Hudson's. Today is the second time that it's went down on him in the past 2 weeks.
But they're doing by themselves on the roads.
Yes, sir.
Say Clark was running calls all weekend for all of this.
I know I seen one of them sitting up here too, not personal car, up here, Chevrolet Broad.
Got a car, that's got wingers.
Okay,
And we've actually had, well, if you count Hudson's twice, that's 4 cars in 2 weeks that we've had it down for some issues. But. We'll get it in fixed.
now you know what the problem is, don't you?
The bow tie on the front?
No.
Yes.
Flying in the Chevrolets.
Well, I did talk to Elon, he's willing to give us a pretty good deal on all electric.
Yeah, you don't want that.
We just got several vehicles right now and.
Go talk to the Board of Education about them.
Yeah. No, but that's I mean, the maintenance bill from the last 2 weeks is only about 74,000.
Oh, for the motion, you need a motion? So I think do it.
74,000?
It would have been. Do the threes, yes.
I second.
Now, what's,
So I'll make a motion, we go with the scale, which is a 300, what it was for several years.
Yeah.
When she first did it, she did it with the current.
I wonder why it has two ones.
Yeah, so this would be using the current step formula, but
I heard it is.
they wouldn't have got that, so then they would have got this one.
Yeah,
So it's 20. It basically ended up being $2,200
Same
extra.
as the county employee would have.
Okay, so let's make that motion.
yeah. Agree.
And that, okay, here's the other question. Is that gonna be as effective their June first? Okay. Kim is processing payroll right now
Well,
for June first. So if you wanted to. do it
Except for
effective June 1st?
except for the step for this year though, right?
Right, right.
you're going back to June 1, you say?
Yeah,
Because as of June first is when they became certified civil service law enforcement deputy.
I'll make a,
And she's doing that payroll right now.
Yeah, I'll second.
I said something to Kim, she said, oh. Readjust.
Is that gonna be a headache for her?
No, she's processing payroll.
I was gonna say, I'm not going back to your office with you, if you're taking that, too. Not that.
You need extra run. Don't worry, she didn't.
I can't run.
Neither does he. You seen him walking?
I can't run right now. Does kick me.
Okay. So that's all we need on the deputies. Increase their, I mean, the resource
They
officer.
did it for, well,
Okay, what you got on Parks and Rec facility?
I mean, I don't have anything for the open meeting right now. That was kind of up to you all to come back to the
so
side.
I'm doing some research on that.
Okay.
I am.
no update.
Nope.
Okay, sheriff request to purchase thermal optics and drone.
That's gonna be on the next meeting for the.
For bid opening, yep.
Yeah.
The
Just the
weatherproof drone, yeah.
Just the one drone, the thermals and the one drone, or we don't have to take bids on. It's just the all-weather drone, which would have been phenomenal had we had something like that back in the club. We could have run that thing and seen exactly where our issues were and areas where we probably could have focused more attention on to help alleviate a lot of the flooding that we had.
I thought about that the other day here last summer when we had two granddaughters come up missing over there. They didn't know where they was at. We didn't know where they was at. But their phones, we got that 360. They found one of them, so.
Quick question, before we get past the darn thing and I forget, cause I'm almost as old as Dutch and.
It's the need paying and 12 for mine.
So one drone and the thermal optics are already purchased.
Thermal optics haven't been purchased, the other drone is in the process, I don't think it's been. Purchase order was turned in, okay? Maybe Thursday this week, if not Thursday next week, just specifically for you guys to come out and see the demo of the drones.
Well,
We'll be using
this week,
Thursday this week, if not Thursday this week, maybe a day next week.
could you let us know for sure?
Well, it's up to you. What is good? If Thursday works for you this week, I will do my best to make it happen. If not, then we'll have to look at a day next week.
You do it first thing in the morning on Thursday?
Yeah, what
Like
time?
8 or 9? Well, that's just for me, I don't know.
How hot's it supposed to get Thursday?
If you do it early, Jim.
No,
What time?
what I'm involved in,
Stuff to do
yeah,
early.
what I'm involved in, I need cool weather. It's killing me.
What's
Cut
9
food.
9 a.m.?
What is it?
9 a.m.
That's fine with me, it's fine with you all.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
This Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Where do you want?
It's working on that.
What was my next question? Where at? That's here in town.
Back parking lot.
Okay.
Where at?
Here, out back.
You want open space?
You got plenty where it's at right now. That'll give you a good idea what this drone can do, these drones. They all come with thermal. They have spotlights and speakers, and they work great.
I was hoping to go over to the house and we could see the turkey. I'm just teasing you.
They can be outfitted with shotgun, sir, so.
No, I don't want to shoot in
But the flame lot already left.
You can open it back and forth.
there. At 9 o'clock here,
I asked him, I'm going to confirm that, hopefully he'll,
send us a message on that'll work.
hopefully he'll respond relatively quick.
All right. New business resolution. Posing the Mid-Atlantic power system. You got it?
Yeah, you guys talking about Dutch put a resolution together. I just put the logo on it, so the signature.
Do you want to read
text
it
will be
or
on the
just
same
let them
page.
know it's just a
Whatever
resolution?
you all want to do.
No, you're going to read it. You got it. I gotta slow down talk. I've been dehydrated, can't talk very good.
So you all had this resolution on the agenda for today, like I said, Dutch put it together, Mineral County Commission resolution opposing the Mid-Atlantic Resiliency Link project. Whereas the Mid-Atlantic Resiliency Link project proposed by NextEra Energy Transmission seeks to construct high voltage transmission lines across multiple counties in West Virginia, including Mineral County. And whereas the proposed route threatens to significantly disrupt private property, productive farmland, forested land, and the fabric of rural communities throughout Mineral County, including property held by families for generations in environmentally sensitive areas. And whereas the Mineral County Commission places the highest value on the rights of private property owners and remains firmly committed to preserving the rural character, livelihoods, and quality of life of our citizens. And whereas the project has already drawn strong opposition from Mineral County residents, farmers, and landowners who have voiced deep concerns about the potential negative impact on property values, agricultural operations, tourism, and the scenic integrity of our region. And whereas, although NextEra project projects that Marl could generate up to $75 million in sales and property taxes for Mineral County over the next 40 years, this estimate fails to adequately consider the potential loss in property values, long-term depreciation, and the additional estimated $246 million in infrastructure costs that would ultimately be borne by ratepayers. And whereas, while the commission recognizes the importance of energy reliability and supports the responsible development of renewable energy infrastructure, such efforts must be undertaken in a way that respects local communities, minimizes harm, and upholds the values and traditions of rural West Virginia. Now therefore be it resolved, the Mineral County Commission formally opposes the Mid-Atlantic Resiliency Link project in its currently proposed form and calls upon state and federal regulators as well as NextEra Energy Transmission to suspend all further development of the project through Mineral County. And be it further resolved that the Mineral County Commission stands united with our residents in opposition to this project and will actively work with local stakeholders to pursue alternative solutions that better protect private property, the environment, and the integrity of Mineral County rural heritage. Adopted this 24th day of June 2025 by the Mineral County Commission.
I've got a question, just to clear my thoughts up. Now, you talk to the people that are in Northern County, nobody that you talk to wants this.
I have not talked to anybody that wants this.
Okay, that's what
I even got word, I thought this will go across a couple of hunting clubs. And this is secondhand information, but it is reliable secondhand information. I even got word that these hunting clubs don't even want it. I thought they would be in favor of it because they get some money out of it and open up some woods and to be shooting lanes and that kind of thing, but they don't even want it going through, so. It's I have not found anybody that wants them, that's in favor of it. So,
You want a motion to adopt that?
I'll make a motion, we adopt this resolution.
I second.
What I need to know is who all you want it sent to. And, because I mean, I assume you guys want it sent to like Public Service Commission to NextEra themselves. Are there any other?
PJM.
PJM, and what's the other one,
Burke.
Burke? Yeah, Burke. I don't know what it stands for, but
Federal Energy
is it resiliency,
Regulation Commission.
regulation, that's it.
Wouldn't hurt to send one to the governor of Virginia and tell him to build your own.
Okay, so,
I didn't smile about that, I mean it.
It wouldn't hurt to copy the government, no.
Because they're used in West Virginia, they're abused in West Virginia.
so Federal Energy, let's see.
Regulatory Commission.
Okay, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, Morrow. Well, no, I guess it's not.
That's
Morrow,
next
it's the
year.
next era, yeah. The governor, the West Virginia Public Service Commission,
PJM.
It's just.
who's PJM?
They are the aggregator of electricity for the 13 states in the District of Columbia.
Is that actually what they are, is PJM?
PGA.
Okay.
It actually originally was Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Maryland for
Don't need a pad for.
that electric hub, but it
Okay.
expanded since then.
Okay, so I will send it to all this, I'll get your signatures on it. I'll recall this to the president of the Senate.
I was just thinking, you might want to send it to your legislators.
Okay. Legislatures, so both senators and both delegates, okay.
Bill.
I do have one more thing on this. This just came through today, but it definitely falls under this agenda item. I gave you all copies of the proposed route for the lines. They sent an email that just says, on behalf of Next Air Transmission, ERM is providing an update on proposed Mid-Atlantic Resiliency Link project. NEMSA plans to, it's just giving you the background. Basically, they are looking to solicit feedback on the route. Now, I realize you all are completely opposed to the line. However, I do think, and Rick would know more from the states, but I feel like there would be value in giving feedback on the route, because if you can't stop it, if you can at least make the impact, make it less impactful for people, because, I mean, hopefully this resolution will do something, but at the same time, it might not. So I think we should comment on the route.
And the way it looks on the map, the choice is, there's not really much of a choice until it gets to about Route 46, right before it gets to route, where it crosses Route 46. Then it branches off in three different directions. My initial thought is to go the southern route, but however, I'd like to look at that a little more and not really make an official comment on that until the next meeting.
Okay, because what I can do, I'll put together a draft letter for the next meeting, then you all can tell me which route, then you guys can look at that, so we can, the letter will just say like, just to be clear, we are completely and absolutely opposed to the line, however, if the line must happen, this is the route you guys want to take, and I have that ready for the next meeting, you guys can look at the route. Okay,
Possible to have a map that I can post now.
yeah, that one,
Here, you can have this.
I printed extras just in
Okay.
case.
You got extra ones?
Well, that one's an extra right there.
Oh, okay.
I'll just give it to them.
No, extra, mine's an extra.
It's probably been asking, I didn't know there was a map.
Well, I just got it today, I think there's an online map too, isn't there?
Yes, that's, next air energy transmission line. Now you can zoom in and out.
Okay. Is that all you have on that?
Yes.
All right, the Peach Festival request funding.
Okay, so the Peach Festival, Barbie came to us, she's wanting, $4,000 from us. I want to touch on another subject or another part of the agenda, which ties in with this. And I'm still I need to get a hold of Randy Smith and find out for sure. So also, when Randy gave me the check for Elk Garden, he gave the Mineral County Livestock Association a check for $2,000 as well. However, when I opened it up, it says, it was made out to the commission because he said he couldn't make it to the Livestock Association. But anyway, when I opened the letter up, it says, congratulations on local economic development assistance grant. You have been awarded by the West Virginia Senate. Please find and close a check for $2,000 as requested by the West Virginia Senate to be used to build 3 electrical panels at the Mineral County Fairgrounds. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please contact West Virginia State Finance Committee. Thank you for your commitment, doing great work for the state of West Virginia. It's signed by Patrick Morrissey. So this was Senator Smith and Senator Jay Taylor both took $1,000 of their LEDA money, each to go to, it was supposed to go to the Peach Festival to pay for this electric. Somehow he got confused and he said it was for the Livestock Association. Talked with the Livestock Association today and they're like, we don't know where the check came from. We don't know why we're getting it. Nobody applied for it or anything. So, but I need to talk to Randy to figure out for sure how we're gonna handle this. But they gave the check to the commission to pass through to, and then we would put $2,000 to the Livestock Association or the Beach Festival, one of the two, I don't know. But we need to get this cleared up a little bit before we take care of that. Right, now that's that later on down in the agenda, but I wanted to touch on that while we was on the Beach Festival request for funding, so they're still wanting $4,000 from the commission, that doesn't include this $2,000. They're wanting 4,000 from us, they already got 4,000 we paid for to help with the electrical situation. Now this 4,000 is for their general operating costs to have the Beach Festival, to help fund the Beach Festival.
What's $2,000?
That's going, this 2,000 is for the electric, but that's through the LEDA money and that kind of thing, and that doesn't have anything to do with their request for us for 4,000. So, anyway. Do we have 4,000 to go? I'm asking you.
Out of this year,
Yeah,
so they can do a budget revision. She might make the next fiscal year.
which would be next week.
Next meeting.
Yeah.
There you
I still don't know about it. I mean, we still got all the courthouse contingencies and things as well that are still be piling up on us.
You just want to carry it over to the next meeting?
Yeah, let's do that, see what we.
Also about to ask for a new door for community corrections and just waiting on pricing.
And the check, because, you know, he announced it was for livestock, but the check actually says electrical panels for the Mineral County
Yeah.
Fairgrounds. I guess maybe he was thinking fair and livestock.
Yeah, it says right on the check. So. I don't think the Livestock Association is gonna be too upset about not getting the money because they weren't expecting it anyway. And they were kind of taken aback because they did get it and they didn't understand the whole situation. So when I explained to them today, the situation, they, oh, okay, now we understand.
He was probably thinking fairgrounds.
Yeah. Yep.
The updated electrical panel box, but it still help, livestock.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought maybe when you said, did you touch base with Donnie or did you touch base with like Julie or Robert Ebert,
I talked with Donna.
Donna? Okay. I'm just thinking, because they did announce it and all the kids were really excited, thinking, wow, this is, because they've been doing a lot of improvements down there, so. I mean, I guess if it's something that they still would have access to, maybe it would help, but. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so man, folks.
Yeah, you would hope, yes, because, you know, they're always doing a lot for the kids all over the county.
So that'll be on hold for the next fiscal year. Fire department, financial reviews.
Yes, so Wendy is out of the country through the end of this week, but they assigned it to another member of the law firm. I've got a 5-page letter here.
Lord.
I'll just read you, I'm not gonna read the whole letter. I'm just gonna read you the answers to the questions I asked. So does the Mineral County Commission as the levying body have the legal authority to A, require a financial review of the accounts into which levy funds are deposited? And the attorney's response is yes, by virtue of West Virginia Code 713, the commission has express authority or reasonable and necessarily implied authority to require financial review as a condition precedent to issuing levy funds. So we can absolutely require a review of the levy account, and we can absolutely withhold funds if they're not willing to allow that review to happen, or turn that review over.
Was that approved a few years ago?
We're getting clarification because it's not clear, that's why he's.
Just clarification.
Yeah, this is from because one of the departments is fighting it. And so that's what, Now, this is a draft letter. They haven't signed it yet, but they're definitely going to. Required financial review of all accounts held by fire departments receiving public funds. Yes, by virtue of West Virginia Code 713, the commission has express authority or reasonable and necessarily implied authority to require financial review as a condition precedent to issuing levy funds. When we discussed this, even though the levy funds aren't going into that account, as the levying body, you are saying that these departments do not have adequate funds to operate without the levy. So in your fiscal powers, you have the ability to confirm that they don't have the ability to operate without this. And to do that, you have to be able to review their finances. So basically, their response is yes, you can require them to turn over all accounts because you're supporting the general operation of the fire department. Whether it's going into a specific account or not, doesn't matter because you are putting this levy on the ballot under the condition that these fire departments couldn't afford to operate without it. Because that's what a levy is you've got to reasonably say that they couldn't operate
So
without
if the
it.
department has $1 million in their account, they don't qualify, and there's nothing that's.
No, it has nothing to do with the balance. It's the commission has the discretionary ability to determine whether or not that department, and he said
Are we talking about account balances, or are we talking about auditing
expenditure reviews.
expenditure?
And they don't even send those reviews to us. Like we don't look at their balances. We're looking at
What
expenditures that a
they.
CPA is signing off on. They're saying everything looks to be fine.
Okay.
So
That's all money that come in, all of them.
yes. And that's why I put the context, the full everything I sent to him. I sent him the order, the actual levy order that was on the ballot, the financial review order, the MOUs, the letter announcing the audits, all the update letters I've sent. And I made sure it was clear that they signed the MOUs, but some of them signed them because we weren't releasing levy funds. We said all of that will be irrelevant, and the MOU has nothing to do with it. 713 gives the power to do may the commission lawfully withhold levy disbursements from departments that refuse to comply with financial review requirement? Yes, by virtue of West Virginia Code 713, the commission has expressed authority or reasonable and necessarily implied authority to require financial review as a condition precedent to issuing levy funds. Note, the issue of withholding state fire protection funds, while not specifically asked, should be reviewed to determine if the commission and the VFDs are following the requirements of West Virginia Code 12414, or if the funds are exempt from the particular statute or subject to another section of state code or rule. And then the final question, which they still commented on, was if such requirements are not legally permissible, what would be a recommended legally acceptable method to ensure proper accountability of levy funds dispersed to independent volunteer fire departments? The commission can seek assistance with an audit or financial review from the West Virginia State Auditor or Legislative Auditor's Office. Additionally, if the commission wishes to have a higher level of legal confidence, we recommend the commission request an advisory opinion from the West Virginia Attorney General's Office. Which I'd never thought about before, but we could definitely, they have all the case law and stuff cited in here, so I think that's helpful. I think my personal opinion at this point is, once they sign this letter, I do think this should be distributed to fire departments and say like, we feel sure we have the legal grounding to do this. We recommend you get to work on your review. But we're also going to submit it to the Attorney General for an opinion. The Attorney General opinion's free. But I do think it's helpful to have the case law in that. But I don't want to wait to get the Attorney General opinion back because these departments that are fighting it.
Yeah.
Like they might not have time to get it done. The next thing they know, they're going to be 6 months down the road before they get their check, and it's going to put them in a position of hurt because I'm personally of the opinion if they do not submit the review, we don't cut their check. Period. End of story until the review's here, no exceptions.
Who's doing the review?
They can choose any licensed CPA from any state.
They may choose their own.
Yeah, we didn't even use the chief inspector's list to try to make it as accessible as possible, but any licensed CPA, they have to be independent they can't be the CPA who does their books, but any other CPA can do it.
So why, sorry, I don't know everything here, so why is it now an issue? Why is it this been done in the past and things like, why have all of a sudden are we addressing that they need
It's
to?
not all of a sudden, it's been
But
going on for.
to me, it seems that way. I just-
Yes.
We've
done that, what,
8 years ago? Yeah,
Okay.
15, 20 years ago, they were required to bring receipts in before they could get their quarterly contributions. They would bring receipts in for electric bills, fuel, Any expenses they had, we had to calculate them to make sure they equaled their quarterly contribution before we could give it to them.
Okay.
Then the next quarter, we had to make sure they didn't duplicate any of those receipts. So then we went to the agreement. They all signed an agreement and things got kind of lax for a while. But in the, with fraud and making sure that taxpayer money is being,
Use the proper.
yeah, so it's just gotten more advanced, but it's not clear. And that's the issue. They're always asking, what is expected of us?
Okay.
What is it you need? When do you know? So it's just not clear.
Well,
So now it covers all of their accounting.
and the commission had really taken a break on it because state passed code that said the auditor was to perform audits on every fire department. I think it was every other year was the intention, but a
But that
minimum
was
of every
before
5
COVID.
years.
Yeah.
And the auditor's office is super short staffed and it's not got any better. Apparently, the audits are moving to the legislative auditor in next month.
Okay.
So they kind of everybody kind of just, let it go because the auditor's office is taking care of it, but then the auditor's office is too short staffed to get it taken care of. So then, I guess it was 2023, we passed a new order with all new requirements, new MOU, all that kind of stuff. Now, the requirements they have are very clear. I worked with, Michaels, yeah, Tim Michaels. He basically wrote the agreed upon procedures for us that he as a CPA felt were appropriate for this type of thing, and it's a minimal burden. Like, one of the fire chiefs told me the other day, the state auditor's office was like a colonoscopy. And the accounting review is basically nothing. Like, this is a relatively low cost. Like, everyone calls it an audit, but it is very far from an audit. It is really just looking at a sampling of expenditures and saying, yeah, they didn't put a hot water heater in their house. Like, that's what this comes down to.
So just a simple letter from that CPA, is that gonna be sufficient for us?
For us to withhold funds? Or what do you mean?
Or to give them.
For approval?
Oh, well, what I was gonna do is collect them and just do the same thing we did with the MOUs, and as those reviews come in and they say they're fine, I was just gonna give you guys a running list. Cause it doesn't go into effect until I have to look back at the dates, but I was just gonna keep a list and keep all those in file.
Well, they need to come down to my office, so we can file.
Okay,
You scan it for a weapon.
well, I can give you the originals.
Yeah,
But I'd rather collect them here and track it, and then I can bring you all the originals, that's fine.
yeah, because when it comes to audit time, we have.
What we need to do, just continue forward with what.
I think if you all made a motion that says we will share this letter with the fire departments, we are going to continue moving forward with requiring all accounts. And, we will also get an opinion from the attorney general, that way it's just in writing and.
Should we wait until we get the signature letter?
Oh, no, they'll just send that to me, it's not gonna change, they were just reviewing it in-house.
So I'll make a motion, so share the letter with fire departments. And we continue to require all accounts for checks or auditing, or however we want to name it. And then also maybe send off to, and I also just send off to the Attorney General to get clarification from them as well. So.
Hey, you guys wanna take this opportunity to remind them also that if they wanna continue getting that money that the legislature gave them a couple of years ago, they gotta be on the checkbook by January 1.
I can definitely put that on.
Fire protection.
Wall County and all the rest of that, I mean. I don't know how serious some of the folks are taking that.
So then we need to be on the open checkbook too, as the county commission?
And I'm sorry, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on.
I think
Yeah,
we need to get there. sometime.
Hampshire's ahead of us and they're still in the process.
I thought you guys had an agreement to do.
Yeah,
When do they have to be on WB checkbook by?
The first of the year for the fire departments.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that in that letter when I send it out.
Okay, is that it?
That's what I got.
Okay. Assessors. Dogs tax collection.
at the end of the year, for their Jack here. Sorry. Jill gets a percentage of the dog tax collection. Here we go.
$74 here. Share 11,000.
That's per code.
Yeah, I knew it. Oh, this is farm use decal. Okay, yeah, I see it there. Okay, I'm just gonna read this then. The amount of dog tax collected for the period January 1 through 2024 through the 25th, June 4th, 2025. Was 12,242 and 10% commission on that.
And if you do
Now-
approve them, then Kim can add them to this payroll too.
Now you got. Is her 10% commission $1,224? Where you got this? Same way as here, that this county,
See?
yeah,
Commission
10%
paid
is
to
12.
assessor.
Yeah, okay, I got you there. Is $1,224.20. And also for the dog tax collected, for this period here that she's got down, July 1 through June 6th, is 10% is $197.40. And farm use decals was $174. So. Now, does she get the complete 174, or does she only get a percentage of that?
Covers all theirs.
There's no breakdown.
There's no breakdown.
County now gets to keep all the money collected per.
Per check, okay. Okay. So we'll be giving her a check for approximately.
Oh, it was one more sheet.
No, it's tax, it's I read what was
There
there.
was 3 for.
There's 3, there's not one more there.
Tag.
This was for the. She gets a 10%, yeah. So when I was adding them up, she gets 1224, 197, and 41, basically. So you want to approve this? Did I hear a note to approve these?
So moved.
Second.
Do that also.
Okay, the next thing, the Hope Dealer Project, West Virginia Goes Purple 2025 proclamation, and been in communication with them. They actually want to be on the July 22nd agenda. So, I initially put that on there and then communicating with them, move some appointments around, so July 22nd meeting works better.
Purple, what all they gonna do?
I know. But it's all spelled out in the proclamation. And you sent that to me, Jason, do you remember what the?
Is that a deal?
I thought it had something to do with drugs, but I didn't know exactly what all it was gonna do with it.
Did they do something last year, proclamation?
Not that I remember.
I don't recall this one now.
Okay.
Okay, Senator Smith and Senator Taylor check for electric fairground.
That's at $2,000. I'll
We've
find out.
already dealt with that.
I'll get a hold of Randy and find out for sure what we're gonna do with that.
It was deposited today because it was, yesterday, whatever, forget when the tax. And, because it's a state grant, so it was deposited, where it goes from there.
Or the payee anyway, so.
Yeah.
Whether it would just be attached or.
Okay, the sheriff home confinement, incarceration, and confinement transfer back to the sheriff. Before we go any further, Terry, you're on there. Do you have anything to share?
No, I'm just here in case anybody has any questions.
Okay,
You guys a letter, to read the letter.
Yeah, it's a letter here about it. The letter is regarding to the day report officer, home confinement officer position that is currently under my supervision. Several years ago, we moved the office of the position out of our current building to allow for more of a treatment atmosphere. I was approached by Sheriff Wisner last week, and he would like to have the home confinement position back under his supervision per the West Virginia Code. Since our program is to be considered more treatment and less corrections, I believe this is what is best for our program. If you should need anything else, please do not hesitate to contact Eric Humphrey. You got anything to add?
Well, I mean, again, I kind of agree with Tara on this, that she's in a position, her office more focused on treatment, and home confinement is a form of incarceration. I know she has her hands full with just dealing with that, and I think we can increase this home confinement program, and that again is another part that will help alleviate the regional jail bill. So I have everything that I need in place to do that with.
Where's his office gonna be up to change?
Well, he's working out of here.
Yes, sir.
Correct. I'm fine with him working out of there too, but the supervisor for the home confinement will be Jonathan Hoskins. Basically be his supervisor.
Okay.
Then there are things I need to look into that I was told that I believe the equipment, the monitoring equipment, we get billed for it, even if it's just sitting on the shelf. If that is the case, we'll find somewhere else to get it put. We're not paying for stuff that's set on the shelf.
And
But
we currently do not pay that. We can get the equipment overnighted. We do not pay that fee.
And I think we need to make it a little more efficient. There needs to be a 24-hour turnaround. If there's an order for somebody being on home incarceration, it needs to be within 24 hours. They shouldn't be given a week or 2 weeks or 3 days free once that order's been issued.
Is there here a motion to put that back under the sheriff's supervision?
I'll make that motion.
What about Doug as maintenance supervisor? Is that gonna change?
That's not gonna be an issue, is it?
Sure.
Now Doug is currently being paid out of the Department of Community Corrections, so we'll be removing him and putting him under. Well, one of the all signs, I don't know, or we might have a separate department.
Well, I'm sure Terry wouldn't mind continuing paying.
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on.
I'm just picking on the second that, and I approve, so. All right, Tara, we agreed to do that for you.
That'll
And that's
actually,
effective July 1st, correct?
July 1.
that'll actually open up more money in Tara's budget because Doug's salary is not even covered by fees. So, no, we're in.
All right, sheriff's position on the deputies.
My question is, I know prior to the pros coming under civil service, we had basically 3 open positions. We had one open back up when Selesky went to the academy and improved 2, which we were hoping to fill. Technically, by bringing the pros over on civil service, that filled those 3 positions. I just want to make sure we are okay still having those positions in hopes that we can find eligible candidates to hire as a deputy.
Can you repeat that?
Basically, we had 3 open positions in the sheriff's department for deputy sheriff. That was, again, once Selesky, the 2 were approved prior to him going to the academy, so him being hired prior to him quitting, that we had 2 additional, but with him quitting, that now gives us 3 open positions for deputy sheriff, which we are trying to hire for. Now, placing the pros under civil service technically filled those 3 deputy positions. However, they are not on the road.
School year.
They're still on here. So my question is, are you gonna allow me to still have those open positions to test for?
You're 3 deputies short. I mean, I'm not pertaining to resource officers.
You gave 2 more, which gave him 18.
That was with the hire of the 2 people from,
Which they are not.
they are not.
No. We were,
During, we were able to get them tested and scheduled a meeting to go before Lepsis in order to get their certifications. For that to transfer over to where they would make them eligible for us to even look at the hire. Through this process of going in the background, we found one perjured himself in civil court. Merit, so.
Or YouTube, so.
Sorry,
I said, your YouTube, just reported, just
I just said one perjured himself. That's,
so now you're looking at 3 to bring it up to 18.
He's already at 8.
We're already at 18. The current.
Yeah, well, we,
No, I'm not talking about resource officers, no. I'm talking about, you're down to 15 now. I mean, regular deputies is what I'm trying to keep.
well, that's counting, my lieutenants, my captains.
Yeah, all of, but you're down, so you need one more to bring you up to 16. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, that's counting,
Yeah, that's counting, I know.
yes.
So I was really under the impression, and maybe I'm wrong, but the only reason those 2 positions got filled was because it was an opportunity that was kind of too good to pass up, not because the
Yeah.
commission felt strongly about adding additional deputies.
that's exactly what my thought was. I didn't want to pass up an opportunity of getting 2 people that were, well,
Technically, I
certified.
had 3 apply that were already certified. But again, one was unable to be hired, the other one withdrew because of that, and the third one also withdrew. So we had 5 on the list to test for civil service, 2 showed up, 1 failed, 1 tested, and I was under the assumption he passed, but technically he actually failed the PT test by 1 setup, but we're giving him that setup, so we can at least proceed with what we have there.
So without the pros, without those extra 2 positions, he'd still be short 1 deputy.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, the one, yeah.
So you wanna know if you can fill 1 position or if you can fill 3?
Time out, go back up a little bit here. Now, you need to back up to that conversation we had. The reason wasn't just to put the 2 in there because they were an easy grab and certified. It was to add those positions to help alleviate the overtime, which would have gave us floaters on both squads. Meaning that if you had 2 people off on that squad, you still had the floater and you didn't create any overtime whatsoever. That was the reason for the additional positions. Not just to get 2 people in there that were already certified.
Remember you talked about the.
Go back to that
You
conversation.
remember.
That was the reason for adding the 1. That would have brought us up to full power, but we're still, that doesn't give us floaters like we had. That gives us 2 people that we have at any given time. When you have 1 person on leave and this person calls off sick, you just simply move this guy there and you create no overtime whatsoever. You still have the full squad working. That was the other reason for the other 2. I mean, I'd love to have 5. But
So what do you want us to do?
honestly, sir, filling 3 positions is going to be
A nightmare.
this term, my turn to fill
So
them.
you have 1 right now on the line. You have 1,
We have 1 right now that is still in this testing process.
But he hasn't introduced himself to the academy yet, has he?
Oh, sir, we're not even close to that.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to give him a conditional offer of employment, therefore we can begin our background thoroughly.
Yeah.
By giving him that potential offer of employment allows us to fully investigate his background, including his medical and financial history.
You need to add 1 question to the interview thing when you interview him. And I think you'll understand where this comes from. Is he mentally prepared for what he's going to deal with at the academy? You know where that came from.
100%, sir.
Now, it may be a joke to some, but
Oh, it's no joke, but honestly, and
it's something.
you almost have to send him down there for a week of observation today.
Yeah.
You have to send them down there just to observe for a week for them to answer that question.
I agree with that.
This
I
person
wasn't been
certified?
prepared for it either, but,
No.
This person's not
No,
certified?
he just took the test.
Yeah. and
so I understand you wanted the 2 deputies for the floater situation. And I was agreeable just because they were available and thought everything was going to go through.
yeah. And
I
honestly,
would like to table the conversation for the extra 2. That's my opinion. Only 1 vote up here. I'd like to just hold off and maybe discuss it some more.
That,
But we still have at least one vacancy to go for though.
Yeah, you still
yeah,
got
we still have that one. The other two
Yeah,
were,
let's get that clarified for you.
Yeah. yeah. But so that, I know it wasn't just the fact of possibly having the potential of hiring the two already certified officers, but it wasn't just for that, it was to help alleviate
Oh, the old.
the overtime. Because if you had that in your department and the availability to move people that easily. Cause right now, if you have one person off, you're calling somebody from the other squad to come work and you're paying them that 12 hours overtime to work that one shift. By having the two availability, or two positions that are available to you to put them in any squad at any shift that you want at any given time. You're almost gonna have to have 3 off at any point just in order to fall one man short on squad.
Well, let's get the one guy going, see if we can get him, then we'll work on the others.
I expect you to fill out your application and have it in by Monday, so.
Yeah, right. Getting too old. I'm too old.
Then I just wanted clarification on that, like I said, technically by moving the pros over, we filled this 3 jobs.
And since we're on the subject of deputies, I just wanna put a shout out to you guys for covering the fair. There was, every night there's some, commotion and fights and stuff going on, and just commend the deputies and. Yeah, we're sitting here holding the purse strings, and I'm gonna say that I don't like seeing the overtime of all the officers down there, but on the other side, we gotta protect our citizens. And just, seeing it firsthand what was going on. It's definitely appreciative of what the deputies have done and how they've protected the rest of the citizens of the county that was down there.
Every member of the Fort Ashby Fire Department told me to thank you guys for allowing that type of manpower assistance. And they also said this is the worst year they've ever had.
Well, last year was bad, and I heard this year was worse.
It's worse.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
I believe it was 8 different incidents we dealt with Friday night.
Some of that stuff I saw was the reason I'm not a cop, because I'd have probably been the one hauled off the fellas.
Well, that's basically the reason I asked for a meeting with you and the other delegate, because there's. You saw a police officer, it should be an arrestable offense. I don't care if you're 2 or you're 15.
I agree.
When you have a 14-year-old that looks like he's 18 and he takes a swing at a police officer, and if he gets brought in here and released to mom and dad, there's something wrong with this system.
I agree.
So there you have it. You know, I want to talk to you.
I think we changed the law with that.
Yeah, that-
Judicial discretion.
That made it worse. Now, that's the primary objective, is to get the parents in here and release them to the parents rather than put them in a detention center, which is 100% wrong. You take a swing at a police officer, you need to be behind bars for you have to be 24 hours at a minimum. And that's the situation we had.
Yep.
I tried to deputize Luke, but he took off running.
You chased them and.
Was one of his kids.
No.
So he wasn't running from you, he was running after his kids.
Was it your kid? She said, no, no.
Yeah, not as my kids.
It still happens.
They would have been happier in jail.
Yeah.
It's sad what's coming.
Yes, sir.
It really is.
Commissioner's Day, you got this, he said, you got this in your day. Cause it was
Unless you go earlier in the
a
day.
brief break between officers one end to the other.
Camera.
Right.
Okay, so let's move along to change to K9. Change to K9 fund.
Okay, well, in the past meeting, we were talking about that K9 check. And so when I called the auditors, I was kind of getting the recommendations, and I mentioned that the sheriff has that account, that it's like a single signature. She said, oh no, it's supposed to be one of the 3 signature accounts. So we're gonna have to transfer the account from his office into my office, where we do all the accounting for it. We can keep the same account, we just need to change it to a 3 signature account. But if we can wait till July 1st to make the transfer, and then that way, for financial statement purposes, we'll move over.
Is that all funds or just the K9
The
fund?
K9 fund.
Okay.
Because we have all the other funds, concealed weapons and,
Well, you don't have LEPC, that's why I'm asking.
Writ of execution, maybe? You have a writ account?
Yeah, that's, local emergency process.
Yeah, you have the writ account, the concealed weapons is just the sheriff. A vow is, the assessor and the sheriff. It's a two signature, LEPC is a different.
Okay, that's why I just want to make sure LPC is
Well,
on.
check it out. I'm pretty sure LEPC is,
Because we give everything to Chris and Kathy, I just didn't know if it,
it is received in cash.
yeah.
I wonder if we should look at insurance. I'll check. Because like, they also receipt in Board of Health, but then they cut the checks at Board of Health,
If you all receive the checks, that'll be fine, it'll just be a payment bump for you, because we'll have to start using cars for food and stuff.
for LEPC.
So you need a motion to change it
Yes, yes, we do.
to where we can.
Yes, it'll be transferring from, well, from the sheriff office to the clerk's office for the three signature requirement.
And I hear a motion,
So moved.
Second.
and I approve that also. Okay. Maintenance person,
I would like you all to approve the hire of someone today. At executive session.
you want executive session first?
Well, I think we should just do reports and stuff
Oh, then you want to.
and then have an executive session regarding the maintenance personnel.
Just to confirm, we are good Thursday, 9 a.m.
Okay.
We are
Confirm
good
that.
Thursday
We are
night.
good
Yeah, I
Thursday,
gotta,
9 a.m.
Doing it here?
Yes, sir.
you sure you don't want a big piece of property to fly it around with the turkeys?
Bring the shotgun, sir.
We can't tell, I'm just looking at them.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cover everything.
Hobble on out of here.
Covered all the purples.
Didn't
Yeah.
What did you do?
Oh.
Sleep down there?
stop that.
What happened?
He was running after some 12-year-old girl and
14.
14. And they fell right down the mud.
You gotta paint the picture now. I mean, she was at least 35, 40 yards when I pointed and waved for her to come to me, and then it was flat out 4 feet tall road runner gone. And yes, I caught her.
There you go. All right. So you want us to go through the bills first, and you want to wait last to go through?
Well.
How do you want to be-
report?
I figured we could give reports and then do your bills.
That's what I
Actually, go through bills while we do the executive session, unless anyone cares to specifically hear the motions to approve bills.
Well, they might want to go home. Let's go in there and then.
Yeah.
We'll go back in just a minute.
Oh.
If there's no-
Let's do the reports.
You want to do the report?
Do the reports,
But then,
then everybody can take
well,
off.
I'm just sitting here waiting.
Okay.
They're not sitting.
Okay, I do have several things. Missy Kidwell, Melissa Kidwell, the dog warden, the animal control officer would like to have a laptop.
Next thing you say Cody was behind.
Because of this best friends network stuff, Eileen's been having to do enough computer stuff for her and, she would like to have a computer. I got a quote from Advantage. They can get us a Dell Business Grade for $915 or a Dell Latitude for $1159. I don't think she has it left in her budget. But she would like to have a computer and I feel like, after all of these years, trying to convince her to get a computer, I would love for you all to buy her.
I'm good with it.
She would also like to have a monitor, so $915 for the laptop, $129 for a monitor. And then, $169 for, I guess I should have added it all up. $169 for office, and then $159 for the docking station for the laptop, so that's really like $1,300, I guess.
That's funny, I was gonna ask, does she need a docking station too? But, so, you already got it
I
in
have
there.
enough for a budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
but she would like to have that, and, we put internet in her building several years ago, hoping that one day this would happen. So, she would like to have it, and I don't wanna give her a chance to change her mind.
I'll make a motion, we do that.
I second that.
Okay. I forgot to give this to Dutch. This came in the mail. It's just a letter. It specifically for Hedrick and wanted, a letter about Marl.
Yeah.
I had to get the first sheet, just bought all those ribbons, like 7 ribbons for Monty for the old typewriter. So I'm gonna, maybe Monty might think of that.
I can't believe Monte still sells ribbons for that graders. My certified emergency manager was just renewed by the National Association of Emergency Managers. That could have been under correspondence. But that is held by 2,400 individuals in the United States. It's an internationally recognized certification. That and my ENP both expired this year and have both been renewed through the credential review process. I told you all we got 12,000 or 13,000. Let me tell you the exact amount. We haven't got the contract yet. I'll have it on the next agenda when the contract comes. It's apparently not working. The internet's been wonky here all day. We got about $13,000 to replace the access control system in the courthouse. I do want to have an executive session discussion about the procurement of that, at some point, but that's not critical for right now. We talked about the West Virginia Department of Energy, retrofit application that can be up to 37,000. When I've talked to Doug and when I've kind of looked, what I would like to do, Family Court has an old unit that needs replaced. And I would like to replace the 3 units in this building. If you guys have other plans, we can do that, but I needed permission before I started getting quotes and writing the application. Do you all have any other thoughts? Because the majority of the courthouse is all new now. The jury room we replaced, not the jury room, the courtroom we replaced last year, the jury room we replaced this year. But the downstairs judges suite that we used to have problems with, we replaced with mini splits in the project. So the majority of everything has been taken care of. This building, the units are old, and the family court does, and magistrate court was replaced 2 years ago. So family court, this building are the 3 that I can think of that are heavily used buildings that need replacement. Like the circuit clerk storage building needs replacement, but it's going to be just files in 2 months. So if you all had other thoughts, that's fine. I just needed to know so I can start that application process.
I can't think of anything. I mean, sounds good to me. So.
We did have some HVAC issues yesterday. The law enforcement people were not very happy. Their office was almost 90 degrees. They were very unhappy and unpleasant yesterday about that. Turns out the outside, they call them radiators. Where the air gets cooled coming in was completely filthy, just covered in dirt and debris, so they cleaned that off. That's something we need to add to preventative maintenance to make sure it gets taken care of on a regular basis. Up on the roof. So there was discussion about that, about whose responsibility it was, but I think it really came down to, we know that it wasn't cleaned at the end of the project, so I don't think anyone's gonna charge any extras. I talked to the project manager about it. But we do have to make sure we PM that, because there's a lot more to those units. So I'm gonna work on a list, because there's a lot of stuff we've got to make sure we're gonna maintenance. Concrete, we still need to look at exactly what you all want to do, so I can get that bid out for the courthouse. If you all just want to do that one section of sidewalk across the front, you all want to still do the plaza, or what exactly you want to do, because I gotta get pricing on that.
What is cheaper, concrete or blacktop?
I'd say they're both expensive.
Oh, yeah, that's what they come out the same.
Concrete's more resilient.
Yeah, I'd say concrete's probably cheaper.
I think right now, just do a strip of concrete across the front there for sidewalk.
And connect it to the old sidewalk too, or, cause that's what, that plaza area, I figured you guys wouldn't wanna do, but there's. Man, I wish I had the site plans in front of me. So there's the building, you got your front door, which I think it's getting a concrete pad anyways. But there's the side door from the steps that's gonna have to have something added too. So there's sidewalk that comes up to here already. And there's sidewalk up here, the courthouse addition. Yes. So I would like to wrap concrete around the front, to the side, connecting to this old sidewalk here, and then do a sidewalk across here connecting to the old.
You gotta connect them sidewalk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all are
That
good with
also
that.
catch the fire escape door too.
That gets fire escape door too. Yes, we'll wrap the building, the front and the side there.
Handicap ramp,
So then,
handicap ramp. Don't forget to build in a handicap ramp.
Oh, and that's it. Well, on the other side, the handicap ramp's been in the plans the whole time.
I'm just thinking preventative there.
There's a peninsula going in and the ramp will be in the peninsula. So that peninsula's gotta be laid, Chad.
So you're referring to where the old handicap area,
The old
Got it.
parking
brings
places.
the sidewalk up and over. And you're just gonna leave a chunk of blacktop right in the middle of it?
No, all of that's coming out anyways.
Okay, okay.
I was
so
either
that's
gonna,
Gonna be completely blacktop or concrete.
my thought was we'd deal with that later, but we either just gonna plant grass or put landscaping stone in there.
So you're not gonna be complete concrete.
No, 'cause it's, the sidewalk would just wrap around it. The plaza would do all of that. But you're talking a lot more square yardage of concrete. And you're not really gaining anything, like we're not putting a memorial there, we're not. I mean, even if we just put landscaping stone or grass there, I mean, it would. So, okay, wrap. Building. Sidewalks. I'm almost done, I swear. Hot water heaters for jail, what about that? Have you had a chance to look back anymore? We have it.
Oh, she's over swatting at me. Oh, I didn't do nothing.
Do you look at anything else with hot water heaters?
Yeah, so I met with Tom over there. And we looked, me and Tom have the same idea, putting a small hot water tank in, either in the room where the dog wash station is, or in that little cubby that's in the hole, in the wall or whatever, in a chase. And putting a small hot water tank in there, and that would feed the sinks upstairs, bathrooms upstairs. And then whatever we do with the shower, I kind of have an idea with the shower that I'm still working on, so. But I think we can tie all that in together with just a small hot water tank in that dog room, in that dog wash area.
What do you need me to do with that?
Hold on to it.
Okay. I'm the one who gets asked about these things.
When you say small, you're talking about like when you put your home size?
Yeah, but not a 50 gallon one, I'm talking like a 10 or 12 gallon or 13 gallon, whatever they have, 15 gallon, just a small. You don't need it, it ain't gonna need a whole lot. You ain't washing your hands and stuff.
Well, if they get the bath,
If you're gonna shower, the guys ain't gonna, they're not gonna go in there and spend 20 minutes in the shower.
but
Yeah,
if,
they
but
are.
if you would put a shower in, would a 10 gallon be more?
I think 10 gallon will be fine.
I think that's everything I have. The maintenance personnel is just something I didn't.
Have you been down to courthouse in this heat upstairs? How's the old?
Oh, I've not been to the third floor. I don't know.
Just wondering what.
We have been checking for bats. We've sent the guys up there at least quarterly looking and they haven't seen anything new.
Yeah, but once that stuff gets in, the bats can be going. Once it gets in there, you don't get it out.
Yeah, well, we have that exhaust fan up there too.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do with it.
Yeah, so I can, check. No one said anything.
I just wondered if this heat is.
Of course, we warned Charlie and
Yeah,
Diana about it preliminarily. So that's my number. I feel like Diana, if it was strong, would have for sure told us so.
that's just what I wondered about that, just.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've heard of that situation.
It is, long time ongoing problem. So we've had it remediated twice. It's just, it's hard to seal a building that was built in the 1800s. Getting, especially going up that size, you know. I think that's all I've got.
Yep, noon to 12, I went to hot wash meeting. Debriefing time of the flooding in Valley Ford at 5:30.
Is everybody there or?
No, I wasn't.
And then after that was the firemen's association meeting for that at 6:30. And then after that was the ambulance authority meeting, all on the 12th. The 18th, I went to the county fair. Down for the livestock competition. The 19th, I was at the fair. The morning of the 19th, and then the 21st, I was down at the fair again.
Also, while I was there, had a chance to talk with Randy Smith and, Jay Taylor over a wide range of just topics. And then, the 23rd, I went to the Fountain Fire Department meeting. Also, yesterday I went to, on the 23rd, went on down to the Short Gap Fire Department meeting. And then today at 11 o'clock was the building commission meeting.
One last thing, because he said the hot washes, we did have another hot wash yesterday with the entities who have paid staff that come in the daytime. And we are gonna have one last hot wash, we're gonna get with just the school board to get their feedback, and then we are gonna put together a relatively comprehensive AAR, and I'll bring it to a meeting for review and approval, so.
You have a date on the school board one?
We have not scheduled it yet.
I went to Rowan Reed, how's the track,
I'm sorry.
Rowan Reed,
Oh, okay.
and I also went to Region 8. I've been to Region 8 twice, signing papers for Region 8 and for the health department. Cause I had to go up there for them. And I was out the health department signing papers and looking at that $400,000 investment. Over 400,000, and I had an aging and family service. And
Who's rolling read? You said that was at the park,
it was at the,
south end?
yeah,
Okay.
south end there, out from the pool.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
And that Asian and family services. That,
That was today.
oh,
I mean,
okay. You threw me off with the rolling read.
that road read,
That's.
that was pretty neat, you know that, that wasn't bad.
Well, I didn't know exactly what you said,
little
it threw me
kid.
off, but exactly what you said was
Them
rolling.
little kids really liked it. You was out there, Liz.
Yeah.
I thought I seen you out there.
Yes, sir, I wasn't there.
You wasn't there? I thought I seen you. They bring them little kids around, they walk, parents walk somewhere on the track. And they have different stations, and you read from them, and then there's little games there for them. And then you give them, ours was pears, we had to give them pears, dice up pears and give them a slice. A little cup full of them, but they love that toss, like, they toss that bean bag into something, they love that. It was interesting.
Since the last commission meeting, so I went to the WV court meeting. In Roanoke, Virginia, that was Thursday, Friday, down there. Just, Monday, the 16th, we had with the Mineral County First Committee meeting the applicants for presentations. Wednesday, 18th, I had a Fountain PSD meeting. I was on a Zoom for a NACO seminar on hurricane and flood readiness. Oh yeah, that was fair too, but so, yeah, so Wednesday, the 18th, I was at the fair. Wasn't there Thursday, I was there Friday, the 20th and Saturday, the 21st. And just like he said, got to talk to Randy Smith and Jay Taylor and about a multitude of things. Monday, the 23rd, we had his CVB meeting. It was actually an interview for an new executive director. And that brings us to today. I missed a well, I tried to get on Zoom on a construction meeting, but it wouldn't let me on. Did you have the Zoom one for the construction meeting?
Everybody else was,
Say the wrong link, or you have the wrong link in my calendar now.
the link's the same.
Sandra sent out.
Yeah, and somehow my calendar got all messed up, so I deleted them and redid them all, and that didn't work.
Well, I probably messed them up because the meetings were supposed to end this month because the project was supposed to be done. And I had to extend, and then we canceled 2 meetings because the 4th of July and Juneteenth, and so, yeah, they probably will stuff. But the Zoom link, everyone else was able.
Yeah, there was 7 people on there.
And
I think to mine,
I tell you what else we need to do. We need to look at changing our first meeting in August. Because we're gonna be at, well, I'm gonna be at Canning Valley, cause that's required.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we need to look at that. It's 12th and we come home on the 12th.
Yeah.
I'd say let's move it to Thursday.
With the service training for county commissioners.
So, yeah.
You wanna move it to the Wednesday, the
I'd like to do it
13th, or Thursday morning?
I like to do it on Thursday myself.
Thursday morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll make a motion, we change that meeting date from August 12th to August the 14th. Same time, 8:30.
Yes.
Jason just-
I'll second that.
So one thing else here I'll add. Along with all the conversations with this line, and of course, we already made the proclamation. And I was told this letter was here waiting on me. So I'd just like to read y'all this letter. This is pretty good. This is from a citizen. It's actually addressed to Chairman Lane of the Public Service Commission of West Virginia. But he sent a copy to me, questioning why I hadn't had it yet, but I said, it says, I hope by now you have received and read the letter from Delegate Hildebrand on the subject of Mid-Atlantic Resiliency Link Morrill project. Delegate Hildebrand's letter was full of great information for opposing the Morrill power line. We also oppose this power line. Now let's bring this down to West Virginia property owners' point of view. My wife and I own about 220 acres in Hampshire County. We do farm a section of the acreage, but most of it is woodland, except for the 10+ acres that is under the First Energy's right of way, 200-foot wide agreement for 500 kW power line. We don't want the second line on our farm. The line was on the property when we bought it, so we know firsthand about stray electric and noise, humming when it's fogging, raining or snowing. That comes from the power line. We also face intrusion of contractors that First Energy uses for maintenance work on the line that most of the time don't let you know they're coming or don't tell the truth. We have to pay taxes on the property that we can only walk on and maybe shoot deer. We can never grow another timber crop on that land. I feel it's God's plan we pass treasures down to our kids in memories or monetary stuff. But with the power lines on the home farm, the monetary value of the farm's acres will be less forever. My point, the state of Virginia can pass all the green laws they want, but don't expect the West Virginia residents to pay the price. Please don't fall for all the false advertising on this project. It is not for the good of the people or the power grid. It is for Virginia and the tax money from data centers. So Virginia needs to find a way to make the power to support them. Please keep the West Virginia property owners, taxpayers, first on your priority list when it comes to approving the permits for the Morrill power line. I know there's politics involved in this big picture, but remember, politicians come and go, but a 200-foot wide power line right away will be on West Virginia land forever if this project is approved. Say no to Morrill. And that's from Lance and Sarah Evans. So I bet you he talked to me for almost an hour down at the fairgrounds about this. He's pretty passionate about it. So, and I understand a lot of people they are really passionate about it. And I've known Lance for a while. So, he took an opportunity to bend my ear and told me he sent me that letter, but, it's just another thing that shows, people are opposing it and we need to continue to push forward. And see what happens. I don't know.
There's one guy I know him real well in Grant County. It's got 3 of them across his property. It's a mess.
So, I believe that's all that I have.
You got anything going?
Recordings are awful. I was listening to the recording to try to do the minutes. The first 17 minutes, you can hear mouths were moving and nothing. So I don't know what needs to be done, but if people are gonna be watching this on YouTube, they don't want to see mouths move.
So the computer updated and restarted and I checked the firmware on the OWL, so I won't know if it worked until after today's meeting.
But I don't know if this has something to do with when people are, zoomed in. Because I know sometimes that the one was so faint, you couldn't hear anything, and as soon as it turned off, the volume went really up. So hopefully, if you restarted it, hopefully something.
Got it up there and I checked the firmware now and everything's good. So I'll check on this meeting. If it's a problem, again, let me know. We'll just have,
And it was kind of like, like motions were being made, and then say, I'll make the. Mouths are moving, nothing, and I got, second, what second? So it does absolutely no good to not be able to hear.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a terrible time with the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, it's gotten extremely worse every time.
Are you having trouble when you're on the Zoom or
When
just
I'm on the
listening?
Zoom, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
oh,
I didn't know how people on the Zoom, because I know the recording, can't hear anything. The first 17 minutes.
Cause it was Wednesday morning meeting and I'm on my deadline for Thursday paper. I zoomed in and I could barely hear any of the three of you, actually.
Okay.
I do that on purpose.
Really interrupted.
I know some of you do kind of speak a little low, but that's the first time I really had a hard time.
you can always hear me?
Yeah, you can tell you can hear Luke all the time.
Yes.
But
But you
I'm just.
speak-
It wouldn't be connected to the microphone on your computer, would it?
No, I don't even.
Oh, no, that's not even connected. That's a whole different.
No, because it's a whole, well,
Yeah.
that's weird that it just is. I wonder if one of the microphones on the, I just assumed it was only happening on YouTube, so I just accounted for a processing error or something.
Cause then I tried to, I turned my volume and I was gonna wear headphones, but then you put them on, it's all quiet, and then you speak, it's like, whoa. So.
I wonder if this microphone,
I wondered. if
Has
it
gone
was
bad.
Myself, because any other time I could hear you really well too, but this last time I couldn't.
Sometimes the mouths are just moving.
Yeah.
Or breaking out, like, couple motions were made, like you start motion and you can't hear.
I don't even know how to check any of that, like, I don't know.
And for sometimes it was like 2-3 minutes of no sound. No sound at all, but. I do have a couple things here. I had this under the bills, but I wanna bring it up separately. So the travel policy went to effect January 1st. So I did a report, ran for all the departments, anybody that had travel expenses and any adjustments they had. So I didn't finish going through and double checking them, to make sure I had those, but, for the sake of this being the last meeting of the fiscal year, if those can be approved, you can approve those. They're not, I mean, I hate to say they're not accurate, but they're not accurate because I haven't checked them yet.
Aren't they already approved because we said, we made it retroactive?
You did,
Okay.
but I mean, and plus, before I can pay these, each department head has to sign off on them. So, but like again, this is the last commission meeting for the fiscal year. Couple things, to get permission for. The dog fund, because we are still gonna pay. I'm trying to remember how much is in the dog fund.
On the recording, that was her whispering to herself.
I forgot to get the balance of that. So we normally bill, the dog fund partial salary reimbursements for the year. We haven't a couple years because of leaving money in there to purchase a truck. So, but since we are purchasing the truck and I think we're gonna have some excess, I didn't know if you wanted to build them 10,000 or so for this year.
Yeah, cause I think the truck was what, 45,000, I can pull up the exact number and then she'll need to upfit it, so I mean,
Yeah.
as long as there's
Or if you
50 in
wanna
there for the
wait-
truck, that's probably what she needs.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say, if you wanna wait, then just to
Yeah.
clarify, okay. And then we normally do home confinement to community corrections. Now, mind you, this is for the current year we're in, not the which Tara does pay out of community corrections. And it's been 10,000 before, but to reimburse community corrections, partial salary reimbursements for Doug for home confinement. Did you wanna do that?
Let me look.
Is this for this year, this physical year?
This fiscal year.
This fiscal year, in July 1, it's on the sheriff,
She's going to the sheriff, so that's what.
there's 24,000 in there right now, I think.
So you need to approve to give that to them.
Let me Hold on, let me see what, when you guys approved her budget last year, which I haven't done one for this year. Oh.
Yeah, there's 24,291.91 in there right now.
Taking anything out of there?
Very minimal,
Her budget had 35,000 coming out of that revenues.
I don't know how much the sheriff will be purchasing once it goes to the sheriff. Or I'm sure he saw that line there and thought, well, there's money in there. And I'm sure there's gonna be some supplies needing to be purchased out of that. Because there's only 24 in there, you can't need 30, 24.
No, 35.
30.
No, I realize that. I'm just saying to balance her budget, it was taking 35,000 out of home fund. So. Even if you could do like 17. That would still leave a pretty, I can't imagine why you'd be throwing $8,000. The only,
Well, the
Maybe the
monthly
cost-
bills can be. Oh, I really have too many numbers left in my head and none of them are coming through. Trying to think, I wanna say $1,200 a month for that, the test.
well, it's whatever you all wanna do. I just, Tara, we did count on 35,000 of that to balance her budget last year.
Do you wanna do 10, 17, 20? From home confinement to community corrections, mind you, there's only 24,000. In,
What line item is it?
that's a different fund, it's home confinement fund,
Okay.
008 is the fund.
It's not gonna be on that.
No, that's just general, sorry. So there's only 24,291.91 in the home confinement fund.
But she needs money to pay bills.
How much does she need?
Well, he budgeted 35,000 out of home confinement.
So to balance her overall community corrections budget, because Doug's salary and benefits are substantially more than that.
But at the same time, the sheriff is gonna need some funds to run with.
What if you just did 15, that leaves him $9,000. It's up to you all, whatever.
Let's give her enough to do. That's just going on there.
You're not voting, so you can.
I have an hour.
Now, her grant, now, one thing, when we balanced this, she had 2 Grant County staff members. One did leave, so she's gonna, and she never replaced that person so far. So she should balance, but it wouldn't hurt to call her.
Well, we're already, oh, they're calling, let's say, while we're in executive session.
Hey, Tara. We were discussing the payment to community corrections from home confinement. It's been different amounts over the years. It's been from 10, and apparently Luke said he had budgeted 30,000 from 35,000 from home confinement to community corrections, but there's only 24,000 in there. Now, assuming the sheriff's gonna need some money to start up one. What do you feel you're comfortable with?
Being transferred.
Ken, you think 10 will be sufficient? Alrighty, thank you.
Okay.
Good, yeah.
She said 10 should be sufficient.
I'll make the motion, we do 10.
I'm second that.
I agree.
I thought we were giving her half, but if she's happy with 10.
Clarify that for her, and she's like, oh, I guess 10. Okay, so those were a couple of things that stands outside of the regular amounts. There's a lot of year-end cleanup that we have to do here.
You know what the final roll removal will be?
No, because we still have to pay all of these bills, we have to do payroll, and even the first 3-4 weeks of July, anything that's obligated to June still has to come out of the current fiscal year. So you can't buy something in June and say, oh, give me an invoice next month, and then I'll pay it out next year. No, if it's an obligation for this year, it has to come out of this year.
How will we handle the sheriff's drone since we can't open bids till the beginning of July?
It's, I mean, we can do a purchase order and then carry that purchase order over, but it's gonna come out of this fiscal year.
Okay, that's what I'll.
And department 419 is going to be over. When I did not figure in both invoices for the West Virginia Corps. That was what, over $67,000. And it's going to be in the negative. It's already in the negative of,
When you say both invoices, do you just mean the like property?
there was liability and work comp. Yeah, so we're already in a negative $346 for 419 personnel. So, of course, once we process all of these bills and all the P card stuff and payroll and hopefully that'll be the only department that'll be over for this year. We had 5 or 6 last year we got wrote up for, but most of those were invoices that came in at the end for the improvement project. So,
Improvement project, I pray to God, is winding down. Oh. So ready for it to be over.
I don't want to ask if anybody else had anything.
Anybody any questions, comments? Nothing? Well, if there's no. What? If there's no objections, we're going into executive session.
For reason.
For personnel.
Personnel, maintenance personnel.
You're not adding anything else significant for that?
No maintenance.
No,
It's
Thanks you guys for coming. Yes.
That a second, Jason?
Yeah, that's a second.
It's a good way to move it.
Are you?
And I'll get you something from.
I am going to pause.
Okay.
It is resuming.
Okay,
Closed session, any action?
no.
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
then,
yes. I'll make a motion, we approve the hire of
William Brennan.
William Brennan for maintenance,
I second
or
that.
offering the job, I guess.
Then I'm staying neutral and this is my nephew.
Well, you not or somebody?
Yeah, and then Joe.
To the apple.
Okay, well, while you're back here, I thought of a couple other things that I needed to bring up because of getting it paid for the end of fiscal year. I don't have jackets for them in here either. The hotel motel, we already cut the check. We usually do that quarterly. But I went ahead and cut their April and May distribution money in hotel motel gets split between Parks and Recs and travel and tourism. But I still have to cut the June 30th check. So if I can have approval for that.
I'll make a motion to approve those payments.
And then, magistrate, we usually zero out that account. I leave enough in there to pay for their July invoices, which is usually just their water. So we usually bill them for the rent for the year. So if I could have a motion to do that.
Make a motion to do that.
Second it.
Okay, and then I mentioned dog, we're not gonna take a refund from dog, but we also do Parks and Recreation. I don't know what the finances are on Parks and Recreation, but we usually do a small distribution back because of, right now they're paying the increase for, Jimmy Teets, when we got that increase a couple years ago. I think it was $2,500, and they
They're
pay that.
also, aren't they also paying someone?
Letter say they pay that quarterly.
Yeah.
But then, so yeah, normally if you do an amount that, to help pay for Cody's and Jamie working.
I think she has about 80. Is what Roger, at the last meeting, you remember?
They're pretty good shape.
Yeah, I think they were around 80 grand.
So you want me to do the same amount as last year? I don't remember how much it did last year, 10, 20, 30, yeah. It was probably 10 or 20.
They got the good money.
What's your thoughts on that? I think I billed 10.
Think of building 10.
I think I billed.
I'm good with that. So.
If you wanna make a motion, somebody?
You guys not saying that.
No,
Because they're paid out of general county, but they work the parks, Cody Joe's and Jimmy T's.
okay.
So we usually bill them just a partial salary reimbursement, I mean, it's a fraction, a very small fraction of what they're paid out of general.
It truly doesn't even cover the health insurance for the town.
Or, yeah, have health insurance.
motion.
I'll second that.
And is that the 10,000?
Yes.
Okay, and.
What is this caliber public safety?
CAD. So. Yeah, those were, so all of the online RMS is what the sheriff's office uses for their reporting, so they pay that, and the rest of it's our maintenance costs for the system.
Okay.
On this Marlin Leasing Corporation, there's no money in there. What's the?
It's not, it's just a amount of those.
I just,
Um,
I'll take your word for it.
okay, so I started getting these invoices and I didn't know, I put them to the side, cause you know, we get a lot, just like at your home, you get a lot of junk mail. And I was like, but I did keep them, I didn't throw them away, and I was like, you know, I think it might be from a Xerox, cause I have to get the invoices from Xerox. So apparently Xerox has switched their financing to this company. Nobody's called me or I haven't gotten anything other than these invoices. So they haven't been paid for a couple months.
What are the, what is?
They're from the Xeroxes in my office, which I bring in the revenue for copies that pay for.
I thought maybe leasing firearms for everybody.
Sure.
What shape?
Well, it's built up, so if you look at the one for June, it has like the total for like the past several months, so it's pretty high. But it's usually about 428 a month. No, that's way too much. I'm taking on my lease. Never mind, it's my lease. It's not that much.
No, I didn't look at it, that's why I asked them. To the word.
You know, I'm wondering if we're not having internet problems, because the whole time I've been sitting here, Trello's been going on and off, and just maybe because of. Maybe we just haven't noticed.
Well, we were having problems at the ministry. I restarted my computer like 3 times and. Could be right. Mine's Comcast. I don't know if the.
That's what we have. Well, they've been doing all these network upgrades, and I wonder if.
You should be thankful you don't have a computer.
Have you been having problems with cell phone service too?
Yeah.
Cutting in and out, like,
I'd be thankful you don't have Frontier, thankful you don't have fiber in the ground like the one I busted today.
oh, you busted.
With a shovel. With a shovel.
Oh, no.
Looking for the line. I broke it with a shovel.
Once you get that bill done, I've done it. It's almost $3 grand. Well, that last strand I broke,
And how long was that line?
I don't know, but we were putting street signs in and hit it.
Was it not marked, Dutch?
It was marked. I knew it was there. I knew it
So
was.
you just acted.
I was using the shovel.
Yeah, well, it's glass.
So the line is coming up out of the ground to the house.
All the job sites here,
And it's in
it's here.
Piece of plastic pipe.
Yeah. But not.
Where it comes up out of the pole to the pole.
It's in plastic.
925 feet away, it's in a piece of plastic pipe.
Yeah,
So I'm looking for this orange.
Oh, it went up.
we added a camera to it.
Yeah.
And it
And
was
it's like, yeah.
ground
It
right
was only
there.
$2.
They just, and here they laid it out on the ground. They brought in some people. Who used a. Pick and a shovel to dig a trench 925 feet in shale.
Wow.
It was only like 6 inches deep.
USA were screwed on. They gave us a
But,
special.
and they usually put
They
a,
overcharged us one.
well, Texas, when we put it in down there.
Did you not
we put
want
also
these all?
orange.
Well,
Yeah.
let me just see. the day
All
prices.
the way across.
They don't do that up
They
there.
don't do that. Wow. So here's the long.
Hey, our first US Cellular bill for the, camera, the monthly service charge came in at $181. Yeah, the first, bill, the monthly service charge for the camera is $181.
Very good. We're done.
The camera set, but it's another 342. monthly, yeah, the monthly service charge, they did 182. And the camera was 344, total bills 530.
Now, these are the travels. And again, they are not,
Send it to
not,
Bill once it's done, or how?
but we need to get them taken care of.
Okay, yeah, send me a breakdown.
They will not be paid without being double checked and without the supervisor, department and elected officials signing
Yeah.
off on that.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good, thanks.
Here's one.
Alright, they're going to, she's gonna send me a breakdown tomorrow, so don't pay that, guys, and they're gonna correct that.
Is it going to still be coming out the same line item that it previously came out of?
911. Yeah, and actually, they're going to move all of our stuff over to here. And then the bill's gonna be broken down even further because the ambulance employee is going on this bill with Chase Star. So.
You got it.
Yes, I guess we'll mail a check for that, cause do you guys pay the rest of it with P card, I guess?
Temperature.
Oh, well, we'll bring you a check every month, to put in that envelope, then, yeah.
I don't know if you would want to see that, that's all important.
I think so. Which, like I said, without going through each person individually, verifying where they went, when they went. And without the department head signing off on it, will not be paying into those travels until then. But I tried to hurry up and get Jack's done as quick as I could so they could go to the meeting.
You know, we'll never have to do that again.
No,
It's done.
yeah. But it was only right to go back that, because
No, I agree.
Well, I'm glad you did, because I used my P card using the new policy, so that would not have been fair to the people who didn't get paid the full amount. Cause I used my P card.
It's not really amounting to that much out of it, was it?
some of them did.
I am curious to see if just cleaning out those intakes will make a difference.
Yeah. Well, that's. Just talked about it today and boom. Let's see, Dutch.
It's really hard to control an area because I'm usually very warm. And I admit, I was kind of freezing today in my office because it was so hot outside. It was picking up all that. So,
Yeah.
but it's the same as my house because I haven't changed the setting on my air conditioner. It's just so hot outside. The air conditioner just.
Yeah, it's just picking, you're actually getting hit by the cold air.
Yeah, it's working as hard as it can just to.
Well, that's what in this building with the gas furnace during the winter, I have to leave my ceiling fan running, because when it kicks on, it'll cook me clear out of my office, and then when it shuts off, you start to get cold.
Yeah, exonerations in the states here too, so. This ABTAC was a reissue, that's why it says, already says paid. It apparently went to an address that they won't forward it to the other companies or the other location. So we had to,
The initial, but
well, there's some behind it too.
yeah, he did sign those. We need your John hand on that, yeah.
Good, Jim.
Yep.
You know, here's the thing that bothers me. There's $316 worth of losing 2 years back. Well, I wonder why that is. On the mountain, the rebuild is great. Roads. Put a notice out there if you can. Figure your tax stuff out when you get them. Don't come in for exoneration. Wow. I'll get those to you. This.
$130 for even cellular?
That's the
You
one-
talked about that.
That's the one I was just talking
Yeah,
about.
I thought put an X on it and then.
Now, 345 of it is for the camera, which will allow.
Okay.
And then it'll be $50 a month for that camera.
Okay.
But they overcharged us by $130 a month.
This is
Travel.
travel.
There'll be documentation in each one of them, like I said, I'm going through and the department head has to approve it before it gets paid.
We,
But I hope to have them all paid by the 30th.
we don't need to initial these, Roger, just.
Now. You guys make the motion on those.
Guess went through the bills real quick.
There wasn't that many.
And last year says, this is like. Roger.
Yeah, I think you do. Thank you, sir. Oh. I can read, okay. From the sun above the line.
And then I'm gonna.
You know, that letter we got today in regards to paramedic hire, that person signed below them. I've never had, I always sign above names, but some people do.
Yeah, me too. There's some people who'll sign below it and mess
Yeah.
everything up.
Yeah, I did that in Dutch.
What? Oh, good, good.
Some better days.
Yeah, that was actually, that computer's 5 years old.
Wow.
And like 2 weeks after I got it, it rolled out of the passenger side of my truck on the ground, and that's when that all happened. Busted up the side, and it still works.
So back to, was this like, in the PC and the laptop or just the laptop?
They're just a laptop monitor.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Did ChatGPT write that for you, Dutch?
And the one part, I just took it what, I think Preston County, we did Preston.
Yeah, we did Preston County. I put it in mine, my chat GPT, and I sent it to him, and then he put it through whatever he did, and it redid it again.
The one paragraph about the money and the money, the tax revenue and all that stuff. I added that paragraph and I run it through ChatGPT and it held that. But the rest of it just ran through and maybe they already ran it through or something, I don't know.
ChatGPT does incredible work.
It does.
Well, you said it to me, I'm like, I'm gonna have to do something, 'cause the signature page is by itself, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll just put the seal on it, so I tried to make it small.
No, I don't like the signature by itself.
Yeah, and that's what I'm, I fixed that.
The IRS
You want them in there?
that way.
I don't think
You ever got your 501c3 approval?
Ouch.
You get this long thing from the IRS, and the next page has the
No, actually, I don't
signature.
have that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't get the guys.
Yes, I have your salary written, your May done, so
Okay.
I have the June's done.
Perfect. I guess payday's Friday.
Yes.
That's good. Probably need it after the damage I did today.
Do that.
Hmm?
Just talked about it.
That fiber line.
Oh, we're gonna need it.
You're too young for me.
Yeah, fine. Well, I thought he did something fun. And you called 811 before, and that's what you were trying to find the line?
Yeah, they just put the line in.
Well, if you just call it.
It's a house we built and just put the line in, then the guy decided, hey, I wanna put downspout drains out through here. Like, all right, that's the internet line right there. Okay, scraped around, looking for it, put the shovel down in the ground. Up in the wire.
6 inches.
Maybe 6 inches. They used a pick and shovel to bury it.
Seriously?
When they installed it, they laid it out on top of the ground, and then they had these. What's the record? We had people come with pick and shovel to dig a trench, 925 feet. And
Why
just-
wouldn't they use a trencher?
why wouldn't they put this very thin, fragile fiber line inside of a piece of pipe?
Mhm.
And where it come up out of the ground, there was a piece of pipe, and where it come up the ground of the house, There was a piece of pipe and where it come up at the pole, there was a piece of pipe. I assumed it was in an orange piece of pipe. No,
What service do they have? They ran fiber directly into their house.
Frontier,
Oh. As annoying as Frontier is, I bet that performs well though.
and it is way back in the boonies, it's 3 miles back, Fox's Hollow Road. A housing development,
Okay.
and it's actually, he's probably 2,000 feet off the road or more, probably half a mile back to his house off Fox's Hollow.
Wow.
And they have fiber back there. Floored me. He told me he was calling and getting fiber, and I'm like, you're not gonna get fiber back here. Oh, yeah, Frontier putting fiber in. Frontier don't have fiber over here. Ain't no way. Sure enough, they do.
Did it work well before you broke it?
Mhm.
Did it work well before you broke it?
He said it did.
It did.
They ran a lot of fiber through, what, up through on the other side of Peter?
You just had to rub it in. It worked.
How many strands did he, was it just one strand?
Just one strand. It was two pieces.
Wonderful.
There was 2 pieces of fiber, 1 piece of copper. I swear it's small. It's smaller than a phone line.
Yes.
It's just,
It's 2 pieces of glass inside.
I wonder why you can't get into your house, Roger.
Put it in.
Like you think Fox Hollow, they'd be able to.
and it's in shale
I don't really care.
that you dig it up and you have all these big rocks of shale around it.
Any of them?
Just driving over it with a tractor is gonna break it.
Yep.
It did break,
That's what's
right?
from
When-
Texas. We have.
Yeah, that's what broke it.
Put an orange
But
ribbon
they left the lay up there.
across the farmland. Every place we put fiber, we have to put a
They
ribbon.
left it lay on top of the ground.
Over top of it, so you knew it was fiber, it was orange.
Okay, well, down here,
I can't think of the
I didn't
name.
realize they put like this electromagnetic tape over everything, so you can.
They left the lay on the ground. For, I don't know how long it laid on the ground. Where's Frontiers? I'd say it's buried now.
Marlin leasing, is that what we talking about
One Xerox is now. I tell you, I've had these Xerox machines, these new ones for 3 or 4 years, and I've not even called in 3 or 4 years for service. I mean, they are just the best machines, Xerox and all. Always had them. Although I do need to call now because since we moved, things just kind of fell off. Little rough.
I know like Krista doesn't like hers, but I like these machines we got from Comex, and I feel like they're pretty cheap compared to what we used to pay for copiers. Like,
Xerox probably is a little bit more than them, but for the quality,
Like you look at
quantity
that.
that we run through it and we bring in.
There's one file there,
copies
that
for them.
okay.
Yeah, I get it.
oh, no, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
disagreeing with you having Xerox. There's a reason that people say, can you make a Xerox of that?
Yeah.
Like it's the original copier. But the brand name became a verb, so.
The brand name, meaning, Xerox
Yeah.
became, yeah. I never thought of that.
Mhm. It's actually something we discussed in marketing class a lot, with these companies that develop these technologies. Like even if you don't use Google, like say I'm gonna Google that.
Usually
I'm not able to search engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious artist.
And I hate saying, I just say search it, but I hate when people say Google it.
It was.
I can't stand Google.
Oh, see, I use Google.
Well,
It was us trying to process
because the
payroll.
way it follows it followed us, when we're traveling in third world countries and stuff, especially closing.
You know, the movie's not finished.
We you get your friends in trouble, you go to prison because you're emailing and so forth and. So the persecution that Google brought upon our friends overseas, that's why.
Got tickets to Short Gap Gun Bash?
What, really for?
Short Gap Gun Bash.
All right,
$40.
we have.
Are you serious?
Ah,
I
serious.
don't have any money with me, Dave. I spent it all. Then again. I don't know, Roger needs to do this. Well,
So that's something.
yeah. That's the question for.
Oh.
Well, I'll open and close. I'll bring it up in a little bit. It was about the ministry.
I think it's, they're making a meeting on the back, we got a motion for the
Exonerations,
narrations.
then the estates, they're here motion for the exoneration.
I'll make a motion for the, yeah, hang on. Make a motion to approve the exonerations.
Second it, and I approve that also. How about East Roger needs to sign that.
Did you see?
About the estates. Make a motion, we approve the estates. I'll second and I approve them.
Accounts payable, those will include the hotel motel, no, I had to do a separate one, hotel motel. Yeah, I had to do a separate one, it'll include those travel adjustments in the bills. For the bills. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Alright. And Marcia is helping me work on catching up with minutes. So she's been working on February, now she's working on January, so I hope to, by the next meeting, have several of sets of minutes to get for you guys. It's,
Okay, well, something will be helpful, if you can, you can email those to us.
take 15-20 minutes, just read minutes.
Yes. That would be beneficial for me anyway.
Oh, I'd love to be caught.
That's why I kind of read through it before we started the meeting.
Yeah.
But I know I'm not fast.
That's what I used to do, maybe get them done in a timely manner and then to forward those on to you for the meeting.
Yeah, that would save a little bit of time in the meeting.
Have you all? Yeah, I think. Is there anything else that you do for 8 feet? 8 feet ones? And we're done with space now.
It was,
Yeah, sorry.
fresh,
We need to approve anything else.
the bills.
Make a motion, we approve the accounts payable.
I second it. Approve it also.
And adjourn if there's nothing else.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.